What up?
What up, YouTube world? Big
Hello,
love.
hello.
Mormon Rishi and Howard Ramberg. Big love, y'all. Thank you for coming to join us tonight. We just had a call in from our brother PK. The beard behind the steering wheel is had too long of a day in the sun. I got a feeling he'll be in the chat though.
Yeah.
So
We'll miss you, PK. We'll miss you. I'm good, bro. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty darn good. I also had a very sunny day today.
Yeah, I was outside too, playing some frisbee, but I wasn't out too long. Had to get back.
Did you get your boomerang out?
I have been using it a little bit, starting to get the hang of it finally.
I love it, man.
But it's difficult though. It's not easy.
You are getting the hang of it. How big is it? Like
it's like.
Okay.
Like this, like probably, yeah. But I mean, you need a lot of space. That's the thing.
Right.
Yeah, that's the problem. It's like, because no one can be in this field behind the house. If there's anyone out there, it's like, watch out.
You know, I always, I got really into disc golf just briefly, and I love some of the trick throws. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like I got a mean tomahawk.
Yeah.
I can do a real savvy upside down and, get the curves on it. Are you disc golf savvy?
A little bit.
Okay.
I know what you're referring to.
Yeah. I got a brother who's kind of a disc golf savant.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was really good. Let's see. People will tell you big love, much respect. Hey Jay, I see you. What's up, Jay? Here's our brother. So before the show, PK was calling in. He actually came and talked to us for a second. And I had this really, I think, a nice starting point for the conversation tonight. A lot of people are dialed into the Peter Thiel on the Zeitgeist airwaves. He had an interview with somebody revealing that he is very much fulfilling the inevitability of the Antichrist. And he looks like shit in the interview. They can't do anything to make that guy look like he's vital. But the interview is very heavy, and there's a lot of subject matter, and I just picked out one little kernel, and it stood out in my ears. It made me think of PK right away, where the interviewer is asking him about should humans exist, and then he has a very uncomfortable pause that is extremely pregnant with meaning. And uncomfortable pauses that are pregnant with meaning or uncanny silence are kind of a signature of the Dionysian flair. And that's something that comes to my mind here, is that there's a tragedy about to occur. And his response, he starts off saying, I'll point out that the word nature is never mentioned in the Old Testament. And then he goes on to justify that humans won't be considered humans in the future. He's in his Promethean, Faustian future. And I just picked up on that nugget that there's never the word nature in the Old Testament, because I think this is a cornerstone, a stumbling block, foolishness to the Greeks, stumbling block to the Jews. This might be a key to the gospel, because the Greeks used the word nature, but it didn't have a translation into Hebrew. And so what he's saying is that in the Hebrew translations of the Old Testament, they never said the word nature. They used the word character instead. And this is kind of where anthropomorphizing happens, I think. This is profound. This is so profound, because there's prohibitions against anthropomorphizing. If you anthropomorphize what is divine, then you're in idol worship. You're getting into imageries and icons and magic hocus pocus. And so there's hard prohibitions against anthropomorphizing. But this mistranslation from character to nature, I think it is the root of so much not seeing eye to eye in the world, and having prohibitions on your works. So then, Chris, you said you found an article that seems to speak about this.
So the article is called "God and Nature in the Old Testament." I'm only getting a preview. I could present it really fast here.
Okay. Yeah.
And did it come up?
Yep.
Let me make sure. Okay. So this is basically saying right here that the Greek, it's not going to let me highlight, the Greeks were the first who had a single word for nature, and that was cosmos. So, I mean, I'm guessing what you're saying is right, that he's going by the Hebrew. But the Greeks come in, and whenever that translation happened, before or after, who the hell knows at this point, cosmos is being used as nature. And it's also that they're saying nature here is actually a circumlocution for
Yeah.
God.
Yes, man. Whoa, wow, wow, wow. Okay. So many things come into my mind all simultaneously. The word chaos is a very important word. This is kind of touching on like nothing comes from nothing, and the controlling the chain of causality that goes all the way back to the Big Bang or the Zazun. You know, actually, in some of the Orthodox Judaism, the universe is created by an implosion, by a sucking in, by a tightening of the belt, by inhalation, and then science wants to create a new chain of causality that's antagonistic or maybe just designed to be a heresy. And this is the Big Bang. And I think that a lot of like the Luciferian Enlightenment, I think they're really worshiping chemistry and the periodic table. They've deified the periodic table. You know what I mean? Oh, hold on. I got a barking dog. So yeah, he's going to be tripping out. But anyway, so yeah, I think that's very profound because the chemistry has natures. Chemistry elicits characteristics. And when you mix these two, it's the same thing in a room full of people. Some people are volatile to each other. Same thing in a chemistry set.
Yeah. And then, I mean, it's interesting because if they don't, I mean, it really does get to the core of the belief of like the transhumanists and how they don't actually have a respect for nature at all. And they have no problem with destroying what they call the prima materia or the prime material or the original matter, which would to them be, I guess, God in this case.
Right.
Like they have no problem doing that.
You know, so much of what I do in my, when I'm trying to think like a Greek, something that I do a lot is anthropomorphize concepts. You know, like their language is a family tree. You know what I mean? And every character in their mythology is a word we still use to describe vast behaviors. You know what I mean? Narcissism. I mean, goodness gracious. So yeah, their characters are our behavior today. You know, and I think there's so much in appreciating that. So yeah, I just wanted to pick that out as like maybe a cornerstone of the Peter Thiel inability to see. But I wanted to say anthropomorphizing concepts is juvenile. And there's something about that juvenile becoming Greek minded is becoming more juvenile minded. And I think there's science is upset at that or offended by that because it seems like magical thinking.
Yeah, and it's interesting too because then you get the Christian idea of becoming like seeing the world like little children, innocent children, which that totally maps onto what you're saying.
Yes, yes, and I think one of the most, as much as programming wants to infantilize humanity, I think I self-infantilized when I discovered that the desires are little children, and to the Greeks they were teenage children. So you know they had like. You know, they were just getting hair on their face and, you know, getting pimples, you know, going through rapid change. And that symbolically, I was like, wow, that is just so profound to learn that these archetypes of the Greeks are still alive and well. We're still living them out. We're still embodying them. But then I also learned that the Romans actually made the desires, the cherubs, the erotes, they made them into children. They made them what makes me feel like it's inappropriate to project these desires onto children before puberty even. You know what I mean? So yeah, there's just something really beautiful about knowing that these concepts and these dynamics, these natures, these behaviors, these habits, they're still in our language. We still use them and anthropomorphize them for functionality. But science is kind of, I don't know, they're agnostic to the magic of the word, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
And then Dude, do you want to bring it up?
That video?
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's see how we can share this. Let me see if it just opens.
Hold on, let me check I want to give everybody a chance to not watch. Ladies and gentlemen, we're about to watch one of the creepiest things I've seen in a long time. Please feel free to pause and come back, or oh my gosh, disclaimer. This is so creepy.
Shoot, I have to log in. Hold on a second. I don't know why this is making me do this.
All is well. Yeah, Chris dropped this on me 2 nights ago.
Why?
And I think it's kind of a TikTok that's been doing the rounds, and the timing of it is really profound.
Gotta be kidding me. It's asking me to verify I'm a human. Yes. Here we go. Can I do it without doing this?
Is it a TikTok?
No, it's on Instagram. So here we
Okay.
go.
Okay.
Enter an old password. Jesus Christ. Hold on a second. There's got to be a way to do this better.
Big love, James Kaplan.
Oh, here we go. Okay. I'm just going to present.
James knows what we're talking about.
Share screen, Instagram, share. Let's see if this plays.
Okay, yeah.
Is there volume with this?
No volume yet.
Going around on
There
TikTok,
we go.
where if you say, "Hey Google," around a baby or a toddler, they seem to freak out. They're absolutely horrified. Now, what are we missing here? It isn't just that they're afraid of the voice. It seems to be something deeper, maybe a frequency change of some sort or something along those lines. Watch this video. Let me know what you guys think in the comments.
Hey Google. Hey Google, what's the weather like tomorrow?
Hey Google.
Are you ready to go memes? Hey Google.
Hi, Madison.
Like ducking.
Hey, Google, what's the temperature outside?
Okay Google, turn on the lamp. It's okay. Belinda, I hear you.
Hey Google.
What's
Grayson.
going on? Hey Google. Every time.
Why don't you want me to say Google?
Because he frightens me to death because he's so loud.
But it's not scary though, it's just a voice.
He's talking through him.
It's just a computer.
Just a computer talking. Why you?
I don't know. Why is whispering?
Because I don't want him to turn on.
Well, he won't turn on. I don't think it's plugged in. Go on then. Is it not turned on? Well, it won't work then. Why?
Alexa, what's my notifications?
Creepy.
Yeah, I don't know what this. It's
Now-
weird, man.
I think somebody should,
She's all gone.
experimentally, somebody should do
Baby.
a collage video with fun and silly music in the background instead
What
of
do you guys
creepy-
think?
creepy, eerie music. It sounds like you're under the ocean listening to whale songs or whatever.
Yeah.
But I did you think the same thing that I thought? I mean, was that what your presumption you were seeing? Did my rant on the Telegram sound like your thoughts?
Yeah. A lot of it. I think we both pretty much came to like similar conclusions when watching it. Yeah. There was, I mean, I thought the prostration was really weird too, like the way that seems like some of them bow to it, which is bizarre. But aside from that, I was like, is it some frequency that adults can't hear that the kids are hearing?
Yeah.
And I thought the thing about the one kid saying how loud it was really interesting too, based on, I remember I mentioned Robert Monroe's book and how there's a section in the Astro where he talks about where this loud sound blasts and they all prostrate themselves and this snake-like entity flies over them. And if you don't do it, like those people will disappear, those souls will disappear from that place.
Totally.
So there's something weird there with that. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't think they're teaching, maybe they're teaching the kids to do that, but it seems messed up to teach your kids to act like that for a video.
Right, right. And there were a couple parts in there. Like I really loved the mom who said, "I hear you." That was a really sweet parental technique, to comfort the child by saying, "I hear you." But yeah, my presumption, I'm just speculating, is that the whatever the 9 months in the womb, that the parents are using these corporate logos, names in the household, that maybe there's some sort of biofeedback, Pavlovian probing of
that would totally make sense too.
Yeah.
Also because there's they have the weapons too, that if you're over a certain age, you're not affected by it. But if you're under I think it's if you're under 30, they could play a frequency, and everyone under 30 they'll be dying, and if you're over 30, you won't hear a thing. Totally. It could be something like that as well, where if you're under a certain age, you're hearing it all the time when it's going off.
Yeah, yeah. And there is a component, as a parent, that is skeptical in me, in the fact that the children are doing it every time, because there is something as a parent that you are conditioning your child more than any other relationship to repeat behavior. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And as a parent, you would love to have a gimmick where you would say a word and your kid comes running to you.
Yeah.
That's a priceless tool to have.
Well, and then throwing in that kid with the red hair who actually talks, he kind of does throw the whole video for a twist, and that's where it gets a little bit well, if he's lying, then the other ones are a little they're still bad, but that's adding a whole different aspect to it, where he's saying it's talking to him all the time. And I mean, we can't assume that that's happening for all the kids. It could be, like you said, so a little just a conditioned response.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know.
Yeah. But the thing that kind of got me is that it's corporate names.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? There's some because of buzzwords, and this kind of buzzes on our own vernacular, going back to Socrates being a gadfly. He's your inner conscience. You have a little something in the back of your head that's bugging you. You know what I mean? We use the insect paradigm in our language to indicate a small voice or an external self, a double of yourself. But then we magnify it in politics because it's got the word ticks in poly. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So there is something about being naturally recoiling from the insect in our subliminal.
Yeah.
But the sensitivity, the reason why this attaches to what I was saying about character and nature, and how the Greeks used little cherubs or teenagers to depict rites of initiation, and then the Romans used babies, and you're like, man, that ain't right. Some of these rites of passage should be preserved till you're Steinerianism, with don't teach them how to read till they're at least 7. We teach them too young, so extend that childhood, preserve the childhood, and put those rites of passage off further in life. So yeah, there's an interesting jump with that. But when you showed me that, I was inspired to go back to some graphics I had made around the moon card about a year and a half ago. And so I went back into the Slick Dissident database and I pulled up a bunch of moon card images because of the sonogram. Because on the moon card, there's those sine waves, multiple layers of sine waves. Kind of looks like the dollar bill, how it has spider webs,
Yeah.
But even in the spider webs, it's got these weird echo sine waves. And so I was thinking of the moon card, of course, because of pregnancy. It relates to Pisces just before Southern California over here, and just before we go across the equinox of the spring. And so, yeah, let me pull up some of the graphics. You want to go through the?
Yeah.
Okay. And this was way before I had thought about the 1800 years echoed in time with the Fulcanelli reveal that we did last the last 2 weeks. I think we've talked about it. All right, give me a second here, folks. So the fun thing about this old idea is it took me back to essentially February of last year. Here we go. It put me just on some thought forms that I had approximately a year and a half ago. And it had a lot to do with, let me just pull this one up first. These are some of Slick's old discoveries on what's going on with these tarot cards. And I was on a weird phase of like seeing animal medicines. You know, there's so many animals in these cards and there's so many animals in the constellation. So I was just systematizing it out. And the moon card is 18. It adds up to a 9. And so I've got the moon card and the hermit card here. And can you see the likeness of the bat?
Yeah.
And so I had heard about a toxin called batrachotoxin. And I'll get to that in a minute. But this graphic is basically the eyewitness account of one of the earliest UFOs. And if you hold these two cards in your hand and you read the early account from this guy, Kenneth Arnold. If you read his word by word account, it's like he's describing characteristics from these two cards in particular. The fact that he says it had no tail and what else?
Do you want to read it?
Yeah, I'll just read it. This is a witness of a witness of a witness. I heard it from a guy, trust me, bro. So it was the first in modern times to witness and report a strange craft in the sky on June 24th, 47. He was pilot of his A2, the plane in the sky near Mount Rainier, Washington, searching for missing Marine aircraft, and witnessed a string of 9 objects at what he claimed was around 10,000 feet. They flew at amazing speeds of what was estimated at 1,500 miles an hour. He said that the object lacked a tail. That's actually on both cards. We have canine characters that their tails are missing. And reflected sunlight, where the bat shaped, moon shaped, and shaped like sometimes referred to as a pie pan. So after witnessing these crafts, he landed his plane at Washington and told Al Baxter about the sighting, blah, 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 blah. But yeah, it's very profound. There's even 9, these little 9 yods. These are 9 hands or 9 archons. You know, there's a focus on archons. There's archons in the sky.
Is it the same number of like on the tree of life in the Kabbalah?
It's one of the nodes.
It looks like the way those nodes are set up, it looks similar.
Oh yeah, I see what you're saying. That this could be a tree of life kind of thing. Yeah. So okay.
They're always bringing up the Kabbalistic stuff is everywhere in the UFO.
So much. So the bat-like description and the fact that there's a bat on this moon card, if you look at it in a very interpretive light, I looked into the bat and I just kind of found out that in the East, the bat is considered beneficial, and in the West, it's considered maleficent. Let me see if I got that right. The West, bats are popularly associated with darkness and malevolence in the West, with witchcraft and vampires. However, in the East, they're associated with being beneficent. And I think that's a really important thing because this is, I mean, the word battle is really, you know, in the Twilight, it's saying the god bat, the bat. Yeah. So yeah, the East and the West see the bat in a different light, antipodal or sympathetically. And then, this is the batrachotoxin, which I think that face has the batrachotoxin. It's a famous poison that comes from birds or frogs, and also something else, bugs, beetles. Here's a picture of them. This is their main location. So yeah, I was just on this buzz a long time ago. Now, the thing that gets me, and this is also in the zeitgeist at the time. Remember I said that the East sees the bat as good and the West sees it as bad? Well, there's kind of an East and a West going on here in the battle of these, star.
Oh, geez, that I didn't even realize how much the logo of the Ukraine right below looks like a skeleton of the bat. Like when they show you like a fossilized skeleton.
Right. Yeah, it does. It totally looks like a bat, doesn't it? Yep.
Especially if you go on the Wikipedia, they have like a fossil of a bat and it looks just like literally it's put in the same positioning.
Wow. So yeah, this in the zeitgeist at the time, I want to say it was last February, somewhere in the winter time, moving into spring, was when we had Oliver Anthony hitting everybody in the heart fields with a overdose of truth and honesty and candor. Such a brilliant display of bravery. And also Lahaina was on fire within the same week, within the same news cycle. And that's amazing because the moon card is Hawaii in my territories map. And so we were getting this sonic overdose of candor, really. And then this is a graphic also with the batrachotoxin. But the reason this, again, attaches to these children crawling around and responding to these corporate namesakes is because the bat uses sonic sonar to move.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, these are some old digs on whole totally different topics, but I just wanted to kind of bring them to the surface in response to that video. It's kind of a call and response because the Chinese character, which represented medicine, was actually derived from the character for music. So you can see their likeness. And I just want to talk about how, like, here it is, the word character and the word nature,
Yep. Dude.
And anthropomorphizing, like their visual arts are literally humanoid or anatomical. They have so much more to say. And they're more musical in their language as well. It's just so much more artful and crafty. But then I was talking to you on the Telegram. Sorry if I'm bogarting the mic, Chris.
No, you're fine. Go on.
Okay, yeah, just jump in because I can't see your face right now when I'm in the.
All good, brother. You're all good. Keep going.
All right. So yeah, I was buzzing in the Telegram group about how it reflects the wisdom of our ancestors who recognized the significance of cymatic healing and techniques. They possessed a deep understanding of musical compositions and the impact various sound frequencies can have on the human body, both beneficial and detrimental effects. And when I heard that, something I picked up from my days healing is that you can utilize feast and famine tactically for your healing. And that is to say, I love this little insight that if you cut back on your onions and your garlic intake in your diet, if you just make a conscious effort to cut it way back, it actually goes into your arsenal for when you do get sick. And now you can bust out onions and garlic and it impacts you way more potently because you were weaned off of their medicines. And so you fasted from onions and garlic. And when you needed the sulfur in your system, boom, you only need a little bit and it gets the job done more effectively.
Yeah.
And so the feast or famine is kind of how you can see how the poison is the dose. So another part of this weave had a lot to do with the gripe, in this medicine that they actually blow medicine up the nose of the patient. And I love this word gripe because it looks like the word rape, but this might be the reason why the word rape is in the word therapist, because this is the ripeist, is the guy, the medicine man, who's going to blow medicine up your nose. And when he does it, he's going to be like the bird blowing the air, and it's going to sound like ripe. And you're going to be the frog when your sinuses expand, and you're going to be like ripe.
And this is, I mean, this maps onto also like you could do an opposites type of thing with what happened in 2020 with COVID and the tests up the nose. So instead of
Right.
blowing up the nose, people were getting jabbed up the nose, and yeah.
Right. They're actually having something extracted from them. It's the opposite of this.
Yeah.
That is very interesting.
Yeah, and they're obsessed with the bat. Obviously, we've seen that with all the Batman movies and the technology used in the Batman movies that has been taken, I think, before it was even released publicly from various Navy, Army, Marine units that gave them like the Batmobile type of vehicle that was actually debuted in the movie before they publicly said they were using it in the battlefield. And the same thing with, I think, that technology, I always bring it up from Dark Knight, where they're using the sonar for the ultrasound from everyone's cell phones to create a 3D map of the entire Gotham.
Yeah, buddy. Yeah. With what's his name? Who's his butler in that episode?
Alfred is played by, Jesus, why am I forgetting his name now?
It's the black dude with the freckles who was God.
Oh, no. But that guy's he's playing Fox, Morgan Freeman. Yeah, he's playing, I think his name is Fox.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Alfred's played by the white guy. Remember, what the hell is his name?
Oh, Morgan Freeman wasn't his Alfred in that?
No, he was like
too long.
his head of technology at Wayne Enterprises.
That's right. I'm way off base. Well, something that is really neat is coming to realize how the Batman, all of Batman is totally baked into this card in particular, because it even has a bat signal. That arc at the top is very much like the bat signal. It is the moon card, and when the moon is full, it makes a signal in the sky. This is totally the bat signal.
Michael Caine, that's who played
Thank you.
him. Yeah.
Thank you. Okay. And I think our buddy James Kaplan might love this card in particular because I think it encodes the concrescence. That little crescent on the top might be Alfred North Whitehead's concrescence. But yeah, man, the kid's getting buzzed by something in the womb. It's really profound. You know, these corporations, I think they, like, you know, Google started out with do no evil, but then they completely flipped it. And this is like, might be speculatively a quintessential example of when people, what is evil? Well, zapping babies to freak out Pavlovianly to the names of corporations. That's fucking evil, man.
Oh yeah.
That was crazy, dude.
Yeah, dude. I mean, it was disturbing. It's disturbing as hell.
I think it was a 3-word response was duck in government. Duck in government.
Yeah.
Yeah, buddy.
Let me see. What else do we have here? What else do you got to share?
Okay, let me take another dip into oh my gosh. I have a great amount of graphics, and I have to apologize that they're not in particularly perfect order because it was a deluge of thought forms.
We were mentioning Tracy Twyman even. I can't even remember why we were bringing that up.
Yeah. Oh, geez. Why did we bring that up? Well, it'll come to me because a lot of these are kind of walking through my thoughts. Okay. So that's right. It was it was on the other Telegram, where we started talking about the cicadas. That's why the Tracy Twyman thing came on. Because I had right around the same time that I made those cards with the batrachotoxin, and I was finding the animals and the insects and the totem medicines in the tarot card. I was having a personal revelation of epic proportions because I actually believe there are capoeira instruments can be unpacked out of some of the symbolic artistry of this tarot deck. And so as I was realizing that there's musical instruments, it really elevated my sensitivity to the insects and the animals, because I was seeing it through a musical capoeirista lens. I was all of a sudden just, yeah, I was throttled psychically. And I should maybe mention that this was a month or 2 months before the Great American Eclipse. This is kind of taking a walk through my old thought forms at a very, I don't know, just a very potent time. And we have cicadas right now, don't we?
Yeah, when I was just in Charleston for the weekend, I heard them. They were nonstop.
Wow. Wow. So yeah, I was on a big cicada buzz. My buddy Kyle and I did a show, and I did a show with LaBranche. So we've been talking about the cicadas from the last brood that everybody was buzzing on. And so these are those graphics. And the emperor is, I think he's playing what we call the heckle heckle. This is a scratchy stick, oftentimes with a bamboo resonator, or perforated or a ribbed gourd is another way to make a heckle heckle. And then this over here is called the agogo, and it's the cowbell. I think I have one somewhere in reach. So the crazy thing about finding the scratchy stick in the emperor is because insects use their legs to make the call of the echo heckle. And so crickets, cicadas, locusts, all these bugs, they do the same thing to make music for each other. And so I look at the emperor card and I see these two circles on the sides.
And that was actually the one thing I weaved on, which was bizarre.
Right, that you saw there was a UFO that is shaped like the star.
One of the main sightings that were pushed out by the whistleblowers, whatever the hell, were being shown, whether they're ours or whether they're just all fake or who knows what the hell's going on. But aside from the Tic Tac and a few of those other like go fast ones, there was a chandelier that came out around the same time as the jellyfish one that like Jeremy Corbell and all them posted. And the chandelier video literally is like that. They're seeing that on like a thermal. Yeah.
Totally. It's exactly this. And I want to say this is also Jason Rizza Giorgiani's symbol. And this is he's got an orange on his knee. This is Dugan's cover art hailing to Rizza. And then over here is Giorgiani hailing to Dugan, because Dugan's middle name is Jellyfish, which is Lady Frida Harris's code name.
Yeah. And this is where you can see the overlap again of the UAP occult narratives coming together, because that's what they're intended to do.
Right. And I want to also, her code name was actually Jesus Chutney, but Jesus is the fish, chutney is the jelly, but chutney is also made out of figs. And so a big, an important part of this weave was the aspecting of AI being a sycophant. And so I had to look up the word sycophant, and it means shower of figs. And so she shows her figs to impress the emperor, so his proboscis gets erect. And this is all anatomically beautiful, because figs are specific for a specific breed of wasp. There are hundreds of types of figs, and there's exactly that many hundred types of wasps, because they're anatomically choosy as to which insect should fertilize which fig. So these are some of my old, and the reason I'm jumping from wasp to cicada, let me say that. I think this is important because the Greeks were very general about their animal kingdoms. They were very willy-nilly, you know, like they used the word bull, but it meant all of the male herd animals, you know. They would use the word bug or gadfly, and it was not really very specific. So, but also Aristophanes is the fourth speaker in the symposium, and he wrote a play called The Wasps, right? So I'm also giving myself permission to not just speak of cicadas, but also of the wasp, which inseminates the fig. So yeah,
and I mean also with the wasp and these bug entities, that again connects to the UAP thing, and like the idea of like these mantis figures people have visions of when they're being whether they're having bad dreams or being actually abducted by something, who knows?
Right. Yep. Yeah. This does totally play into voice to skull also, like frequency
Yep.
stuff. Yeah.
And
big
even
time.
even the grays with the large eyes, I mean, it's all bug sort of
Mhm.
imagery if you really think about it.
Yeah. And even like there's in the surveillance state, the word bug means, something's
Mhm.
listening to something, some other entity
go.
is present that you can't see.
Yeah, and it's also like we get this idea of like the angels or fallen angels or some sort of winged anthropomorphized entity.
Totally.
And there's your metamorphosis.
Yeah, buddy. Isn't this something? And so I was on this bug thing and I'm tripping because it's cicada season. This was way back. And then it was maybe 2 months in, it might have been right around the eclipse. I realized there's actually bugs on the tops of all of these damn tarot cards. Every single one of them has these bug
Yeah.
wings on the top of every single
Oh,
one of the
yeah.
cards. And it was there all along. And I'm like, yeah, getting great reward for I think it was there in my own subconscious. You know what I mean? I think I saw it every single time. I just didn't acknowledge it.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think right there is kind of a difference between understanding and knowing, maybe somewhat. So now that I know that there are there are bug wings on the tops of all these cards, I'm really rewarded. So yeah, this is a graphic where I pulled up the sycophant. The definition of sycophant originates from the Greek word psychophantes and means false accuser or slanderer. Dude.
Which, I mean, that ties into everything we were just saying. All the fallen angel, Luciferian ideas. Yeah. All
Totally. And is your Pornhub account going to get thrown back in your face anytime soon?
Might be.
Right? Yeah. Yeah. The fig. So the shower of figs. And even like look under her arm, it has a fig shape. These are fig shaped. These are fig shaped. But the whole thing is also a jellyfish, which chutney is made out of figs. So yeah, this was a fun week. Let me stop sharing so I don't put anybody into an epileptic fit flashing through these.
And I like how Jay mentioned genuflect because that is what the kids were doing too in that video. And that's like back to Tracy Twyman.
Oh, dude. Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. Thanks for mentioning Tracy again. Dude, I want to say the word genuflect, it haunted me for 2 years while I was in high school. And I was just obsessed with this word because we would kneel in front of the coach, everybody come take a knee. Come take a knee. And all the whole team would come and everybody would go down on one knee in front of coach and he would, put us right. And it was humbling. It was a genuflection it's a symbol of humbleness. And I just want to, I think, the Kaepernick thing kind of made genuflection into something it shouldn't be. Am I screen sharing right now? I don't think
No.
I am. Okay. Sorry. I think the Kaepernick thing has shit-coded the genuflection. I think this is dismantling the household because genuflecting is how you propose to your wife, right? Mm-hmm. So the Kaepernick was shit-coding genuflection. But I just want to say, my obsession on the word was at a time when I was just getting into a samurai's mentality. I was very into, the martial arts, particularly Japanese. And that genuflection, you're not only putting yourself under a person, like beyond what the Japanese bow, and they have different levels of bowing, but every maneuver of their body articulating is a language in and of itself. In Japan, everything your body is doing is language. You know what I mean? And so when you get into that kind of mindset and then you think of what it would be to genuflect in that language, and I realize you're setting yourself up for the decapitation.
Yep.
And you're doing that to propose to a woman. You're putting her in the position to chop your fucking head off like a praying mantis. You know what I mean? Right here and now. Cut my head off or tell me yes, baby. You know what I mean? You know what 100%.
I mean? To become one.
Yeah. And so, that word, it just, and it has, like that genuine, right? And the genesis, the spirit of, It's such a good word. So yeah, then years down the line, I find out that Tracy Twyman wrote that book, and what profound timing for the Kaepernick thing to pop off when she has a book named Genuflect.
Yeah. Yeah. And then, I mean, whatever happened with her too. I mean, we can get into a whole different rabbit hole with that, but I mean, connects with all the AI stuff too, because in her Dead Man's video trigger thing that it's very hard to find now.
Yep.
I think it might still be on like BitChute or Rumble or Odyssey or something like that. But I remember her describing the attacks from AI that were happening to her during that time, or at least that she believed were happening to her and her friend. And I mean, that is right back to what's happening with the kids in that video. Is it all the same freaking thing?
Damn. Yeah, man. That is a trip and a half. Great point. Okay, I want to say this while we're on the topic about the concept of voice to skull. Everybody should know about the Knights of Malta have a resonating chamber underneath the island where an initiate goes into this special location in the chamber. There's a red cross on the ground, and he kneels. He genuflects in that location, and he's placing his head in a general central part of the resonating chamber. And from that location, when he's kneeling, a voice with no echo can be channeled into his mind, and he can be spoken to in his regional dialect, so it sounds like it's his God from his motherland, and convince him to go on a suicide mission or what to do in the future and to await further protocols. And right before he does it, he probably drinks some chocolate-laced mushrooms, right? So it's all first-timer. He's been on a famine. He's feasting, and he's about to get hit with all this at once. Okay, this is this all rings a bell, right?
Oh yeah, and there's not just that that specific location, but there's also, I think, like theaters and like not temples but cathedrals, I guess, where you can do like a confession, and everyone who's confessing could be heard by the one person in the listening room, but then everyone else around will just hear like gibberish on the outside.
Yep. And they can even do the same thing, like how whoever's at the podium is the administrator of sound. Yeah. And everybody sitting in the pew is the receiver, right?
Mm-hmm. So and then people like in like even the Greek theaters, the amphitheaters, where you're back all the way in the back, you hear like a whisper on the stage, and it's like however they did that, they figured it out.
Yeah, man. There's a spot in Boulder, a park, where two people stand in two different chambers, and it's lined up so they're like perfectly aligned to each other. And if one person whispers in their chamber, the other person hears it as though they're in the chamber with them. Yeah. It's a neat one. So, okay. So I just want to kind of point at how the whole ritual and the ceremony and the protocols of the Knights of Malta under the island of Malta. One quick note: up above ground in Malta, they still have cement slab listening devices that are military grade, that were state of the art when they made them, because they could hear planes or jets from super far away. They could hear things way far away up in the air. But as soon as they put them up and they were state of the art, they invented radar, and radar superseded what Malta had. But I just want to point out, they've militarized this to a vast degree on that island. And then I just want to take the whole protocol, and I want to put it into what a police officer does if you give them your ID. If your first five are insufficient and you end up giving up your ID and they go back to their car, they're going to have a disincarnate voice that is complete and total hearsay. It's hearsay. It's a false witness. They're going to be falsely accused, and they're going to determine whether to treat you more favorably or if they should come and lock you down. And maybe ruin your entire life without thinking about it, because they're just doing their job. So the voice to skull technology is fully operational in a police squad car.
Absolutely.
All right. I just had to get that one out there, because I love how people think that voice to skull is fictionalized, and you're like, oh no. Oh
no. They're using it even in the I mean, it's entertainment now too. Like it's dual use technology at this point. It's being used at the Vegas sphere, that half an eyeball type thing that they have They use beamforming sound, which I mean
Whoa.
now I think even 6G modems and the newer 5G modems use beamforming technology just even for signals in your house, which is that's like a directed basically sound wave that can go right to your ear, or say you're in like a group of people who are sitting in a section. Your section's going to be the only section that hears what it's directing at you.
That is so tripped out, and that kind of plays into Tracy's experience, how she was being gaslit and, having conversations that didn't really happen, so to say.
Yeah, I mean, hers was like, and the thing was, hers was early, so it was before like we had these large language models really widespread anywhere. Maybe there were some test models people could use. I don't know, but she was even having, like she said, she thought real-time manipulation of websites she was going on. So she would go on social media and she thought she was seeing like a individualized, I mean, which we all are getting our own feeds at this point, but she thought it was being like changed from the actual feed that the website was hosting. And it was maliciously being set up to have, I guess, provocative comments towards her. And whoever she would talk to was actually AI or automated.
And, just a interesting parallel. I've always considered the theory that Carl Jung might have been a early voice to skull case, or gang stalking, so to say, targeted individual. That's the word. I wonder if Carl Jung was one of the early targeted individuals. He and Alan Dulles, whose middle name is Welsh, by the way, Royal Order of the Lower Order of the Red Dragon. Anybody? The Welsh flag. Anyway, so he and whatever. Oh my God, I just blanked on his name.
Alan Dulles.
Dulles. He and Alan Welsh Dulles, AWD. They had correspondence, but they used a secretary, and the secretary was pretending to go to Carl Jung for psychological reasons. It wasn't the hiccups. That was Edith Rockefeller. She had something else, this secretary from Dulles. And they make it sound like she's a mind control slave. Like she thinks she's just going to get help. And she goes in the office and Carl Jung does some trick and she flips off, and now she's a database. And she can give information, store information, get flipped back off and go back to Daddy Dulles and tell him everything,
Yeah.
But I think it would be a fun fan fiction to write someday, that it was actually Carl Jung who was getting flipped on and flipped off by her.
Well, I mean, that would kind of align with like the beta kitten programming of MK Ultra, where the female sort of then programs the male. Yeah.
Right. And then there's I forget where this was drudged up, but there is a theory out there that he was actually getting voice to skull when he's talking to Philemon and having disincarnated.
When he's doing his red book, right before he's doing the red book, I'm guessing around that time when he's going crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
I could see that. I definitely could see that.
V2K, as they call it. Okay. So I'll do another share here. Might be a little subject jump. I did a masterpiece, master design on my tarot cards of the Marvel Comics. And this is just a fun, slick dissident original. It's not very clear. It's not super clear, but this is the 22 primary films in order, from in the order of release, I think, from the top to the bottom. And each one of them is a perfect tarot card. So yeah, that's all in one shot. And then I put the one ring to rule them all in the middle.
It's interesting now how like the newest one is Iron Heart with that girl. Yeah. And they're like mixing the Iron Man and all the Doctor Strange magical stuff in one character, which is like all transhumanist occult.
Yeah, dude. They're doing what did they call it? Muddy clay. Iron and muddy clay.
Yeah.
Man, that's racist. That's just racist. All right. Okay. So this is a graphic that I threw together the night of the Idaho potato ID. I don't know if I'm going to get an ID or not. This is while the shooter was still on the loose. the name of the mountain, Canfield, is an anagram for DC finale.
Hmm.
And so this story seemed very inorganic. I think they're just lying extreme cover fog. Probably partially because of ice. Well, yeah, just because it's the fog of war. We're going into war. They need us to think of other things. Let's see.
Oh, the prestige.
Yeah, I heard, that was from a podcast on the Occult Rejects. They did a show on the Trinity. No, the Trivium and the Quadrivium.
Mm-hmm.
And in the very beginning of the conversation, the guest of the show, it was a great show. He says that the word prestige, well, all these academics are circle jerking each other and passing around prestige and laurels. And he says the word prestige actually means illusion. I was like, no, it doesn't. I looked up the definition of it, and it's not defined as illusion. It's defined as the level of respect which a person or thing is regarded by others or standing, good reputation, honor, great respect and importance. And I was like, why is it not? Why does he appear to be wrong? And I was like, oh, wait, the etymology of the word prestige is the exact opposite of the definition. Or maybe not the exact opposite. Maybe it's not exact opposite. That's maybe incorrect. But it is unlike what you would think, because in 1650s it meant trick, illusion, imposter, deceit, delusion. But then in 1815, this is Napoleon's zone here. It was used in the sense of an illusion as to one's personal merit or importance, a flattering illusion. Isn't that interesting?
Well, look at this. I'll share this really fast.
Okay. Prestige is the goal of the number 7, the enthusiast, and I think it's also related to testosterone. But let me see. Let me change my screen here. Okay.
Is it sharing? Yeah.
Yep.
So this is from the prestige. The third stage is sometimes called the effect or the prestige. And this is the product of magic. If a rabbit is pulled from a hat, a rabbit, which apparently did not exist before the trick was performed, can be said the prestige of that trick. Or can be said to be the prestige of that trick. So it's like this is like the turn, basically.
Yes.
This is the turn. And then there it is. Actually, there it is right here. But the second act's actually the turn. So this comes after the turn. So, I mean, this is all laid out in Christopher Nolan's film.
Yeah,
which I highly suggest people watch, because there's a lot of occult symbolism in that film, especially with the twins, the double. Yeah, it's really and it's a good film. So
yep, I'm going to rewatch it now that you mention it.
I've watched it so many times, I can't even watch it again because I watched it too many times.
Yeah, that is a good one.
Yeah.
All right. So
there's even a weird thing where it's like a weird hinting at Tesla maybe not being Tesla, who we think. And then being, because you have Bowie playing Tesla, but there's also Andy Serkis, right? That's his name, Andy Serkis, the one who does all the animatronics usually. He played like Caesar, I think, in Planet of the Apes, and Golem in the Lord of the Rings. Wow. But he's playing his assistant, his American assistant, but he's the one who's often talking for him. And he's like making all the decisions to let the one character who's played by Wolverine, what the hell is his name? Hugh Jackman into the compound. It's really the American assistant who actually like does all the upfront negotiating, and then Bowie's kind of in the background. So like the I think the theory is that maybe the American guy was actually Tesla.
Yeah.
And Bowie was kind of just an actor, which I mean, it's literally happening. And then that's why when he goes, what's your secret for the trick too? He tells him Tesla, which wouldn't be a lie then, because it's like Tesla isn't Tesla, just like he isn't the one coming out of the other door. It's his twin.
Wow. Man. And that is totally like the director magic, that you have to decipher the trick from behind the scenes.
Yeah.
And also I want to point out how like, sometimes keeping track of the other characters that Hollywood stars have played, that you're drawing on, like we're talking about the Prestige, but you're asking about who played Wolverine, and now you're like, oh yeah, that's Wolverine also. You know what I mean? It becomes like a hyper sigil, but there's something about that I think kind of layers onto multiverse theory, you know, and the fact that we actually are somewhat aware of other realities with these characters, you know,
Yeah.
or the actors, not the characters.
Well, and
other
it's
realities
embedded
with
in the film too, because you have them with this machine, this magic machine that Tesla has. You have his hats being duplicated, then you have the character of Hugh Jackman being duplicated.
Yep.
When really you have then Christian Bale playing the other character who's actually living his trick. So him and his twin brother are living the trick, and they're hiding that there are two of them the whole time.
Yeah.
So there's no, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and it's the twin sacrifice, right?
Mhm.
The other brother lives in the shadow, like you're
Until one of them gets executed, and he goes abracadabra, and then the other one shows up, and the other one who's using real magic doesn't understand what's going on, even though he's used real magic. He doesn't get what the hell's going on because he just saw him get executed.
Yeah, man, it's so profound, and and the fact that Hugh Jackman did a resurrection even in his X-Men arc. He's always being resurrected.
Well, and that whole thing with him, his character, he's drowning himself every show because he doesn't want to deal with the double that he's creating through the multiverse magic sort of thing going on.
Yeah, man, it's like that's actually corporations, you know, changing their skin over and over and over in denial of where they've been and what they've done.
Mm-hmm.
So this is just a graphic. This is just a lot of really fun information for the retrogrades coming forward. But there is, I have a graph. No, I don't. But this graphic has many of the retrogrades except for Mars. The Mars retrograde is also coming on board here soon. And by November 11th, we're going to have at least 6 planets in retrograde all at once for just a few days. For a short window, there will be exceeding amount of
9/11.
no 11.
No,
11,
November.
11.
Well, no, I'm saying November because Nov is 9. Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
The veiled 9/11.
Hyper sigil status. Yeah, man, good call. So that's going to be on the radar. And this graphic is kind of through my symposium work on the Enneagram. I'm taking my best guess as to the character that embodies the planetary nature to some degree. I'm actually missing Mars, and this is just some fun. But yeah, a great amount of retrogrades. And I just want to mention, like, you know, planetary retrogrades, I think, are articulated in politics when an archon takes the stage on promises and then goes back on their word as soon as they're put in power. I think that is articulating the inevitability of planetary retrogrades. And I think they're even tactical about it.
Yeah.
And that's an understatement.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a fun one. This is Plato's conception of the realm of forms. And right now there's a lot of people talking about nominalism and how nominalists are fucking everything up. And the nominalists are like, you're taking it too far. We're just pointing out that everything's a construct. And we're like, no. These words have actual spiritual harmonic consistency beyond the linear mindset. And I just want to say that as finding so much of the astronomy and the I think of it as the stage props of the psyche. All of the constellations are just stage props for the psyche. And so here in this graphic, they have like, the form of a table. There's not actually a table anywhere. It's just an idea we talk about. And I'm like, no, dumbasses. There's a big table up in the sky.
Yeah.
And its name is Altair. And the many names for these constellations are important. They are compendiums. Every constellation is a compendium or a library. And that's the way Slick sees it. And here we got the form of the good and the form of the just. I
just noticed that the justice thing is actually like an inverted. It's the inverted logo of, like we were looking at with Ukraine. Like turn that justice, the scales upside down, then you have the Ukraine outline. That's interesting. I've never actually seen that before.
That is interesting. So that is interesting. I see it. And
Right?
also, yeah, like, and also Luke Skywalker's flying whatever.
Yeah,
You know,
I mean, it's a trident. The trident is basically the
yeah, kind of.
yeah.
Yep, upside down trident. So yeah, this is me just kind of vindicating the realm of forms as being not just hypothetical; they're demonstrable. There's I listen to Gnostic Informant and all these people in mythology, and none of them have the bandwidth for everything the stars have always been telling us. They just don't have the bandwidth for it. And if they had a clue what I see when I go through mythology, they would stop fighting. They would definitely
Yeah.
stop fighting.
Mhm. I mean, basically, like it's almost like Alexandria is in the stars, and like they're stuck on the idea that Alexandria was burnt down by the Templars or whoever the hell it was burnt down by,
Right.
whatever they think happened to it. They think it's a place when it probably wasn't,
Right.
or if it was, it exists on multiple levels.
Yeah. Wasn't it Emily Moyer? She said in our show,
Yeah.
she's heard that Greece is just a hyperdimensional kingdom.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There is a lot to that. But Genestus Pletho is also potentially a historical Plato.
Mm-hmm.
And that fascinates me. Okay. And then did this come right through in your eyes?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I like couldn't believe I didn't see it at first. When I first saw the Night Stalker, I didn't even think about it until you sent the picture of her.
Yeah, this is nuts. And then also, I'm pretty sure Night Stalker was one of the names of a military unit that did some commando shit. Recently, I just kind of came across that this is I don't know, it's a cultural consistency. We'll just put it that way. But yeah, this is homie's nickname was the Night Stalker, and the character from the X-Men is Nightcrawler, the Nightcrawler. And if you look into the biography of Nightcrawler and some of the different canons, because different people have changed him up with different ways with his backstory, it still fits. Even in different backstories, it still fits the Night
Yeah,
Stalker.
I actually remember when I was looking that up after you sent it. I think I sent over that Ramirez fatally shoots his second wife is one of like the first events to have from in May of 1975, and that's literally the debut of Nightcrawler, the comic.
Yeah, man.
May 1975.
Yep. And we're the Smith Modernization Act happened already 2012 Mayan prophecy. They are counting on people saying, what is reality? What is fiction? What is reality? What is fiction? What is reality? What is fiction? Which comes first, the chicken or the egg?
So it's like Avatar embedded in all that too, the blue.
Yeah. So this is a smaller graphic that I threw together. When I saw these, did you see these mosquitoes?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think, well, who knows? I'm not even going to point any fingers. Somebody out there is making these mosquitoes. Don't they look like shades?
Yeah, they do.
They totally look.
That looks almost like that symbol that's on the is it the card that you had for what's her name, the blonde congresswoman or senator?
Yeah.
What's her name again?
Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Marjorie Taylor Greene. Also Scooby Doo mystery wagon where it has the binocular sort of look on it. With yeah,
some 007 shit. Yeah, some spy Googles. Well, that's going to come back. Let me see. Hold on. This is going to come up again. I kind of updated this graphic it's on the cover of tonight's art. But yeah, and also when I looked up AutoPin, I get some sort of injectable insulin device. Did you know that?
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's actually also, a split tongue biparius here. It's also a insulin device. And then this was inspired by our brother Mario, big love Mario. He put together a video on cancer and how oftentimes there's on the moon card, there is a lobster depicted on the moon card on a lot of tarot decks. And sometimes the cancer card will have a lobster on it also. And so this was very synchronous to my ears because Jupiter has moved into Cancer right now. And when he made the video, the moon was going through Cancer. When he made the video about Cancer and the lobster, I was like, oh my gosh, the moon is in Cancer right now. So this is kind of moon and Jupiter in Cancer oriented. Minor decan of Cancer is the Argo Navis and also the Ursa Majora and Ursa Minor. And then on the other side is the brothers, the twins. So I put this image of whatever, the lobster dude from Futurama next to homie here. But then as I was making this graphic, the reason I wanted to share this is because it dawns on me that Peterson, who's sometimes called a lobster, he only eats steak, right?
Meat, yeah. He only eats meat.
He only eats meat, but he's described as a lobster. Well, steak and lobster is what they call the deployment meal in the military. And last week, as Jupiter and the sun and the moon are rolling into Cancer, the military was reporting back that they got their deployment meals.
And also he has that organization called the Ark.
Yep.
Totally. The Argo Navis.
Argo Navis. Yep. And then this one was a trip.
So this guy.
Yeah, this guy. I just find it provocative that as soon as I saw this headline, the color of the print, this blue graphic, it just made me think of this graphic.
Yeah.
And the fact that the French are so gay. They're so damn gay.
Oh, they're so, 100%.
Oh my God, they're so gay.
Strange. It almost reminds me of Strange Attacks when I'm reading that too.
Oh yeah, Doctor Strange. Dr. Syringe.
Dr. Syringe.
The Dr. Syringe.
145. 145. Is that we got anything out of the 145?
It's N and E or ADE. ADE. I don't know. I'm not sure. Nothing came to mind, actually. That's not one of my pet numbers.
Oh, it means emerald in Hebrew.
Oh,
and
okay.
10 as well as 10.
Oh, yeah. It's totally 10. Good call.
Yeah.
And then this is an old headline, but I just thought it was kind of fun that the Vice Mayor Cynthia Gonzalez is calling all the gangsters out to fight against the ICE agents. And her name is Gonzalez.
And then so I saw another narrative around the gangs, which I don't know if you saw, where it was the gangs are planning to murder hundreds of millions with tainted fentanyl that they're pumping into the United States.
Oh, wow.
So now you have like two different, the narratives are either the gangs are helping their what's it called? Vigilantes who are gonna help the other, I guess, the leftists with their social justice warrior type of battles, or they're gonna be killing everyone with the drugs that they pump into the
Wow. Good call, man. That's a trip.
This one that I sent you that I can't find any. So my dad's friend, Mr. Belize is his name. He sends this to me because he sends me all this stuff that he thinks fulfills Christian prophecy and revelation, all the time.
Yeah.
And once in a while I'll listen to something he sends me, and this was a weird video saying, I knew who Kim Clement was. I remember him from back in 2016, that preacher guy who was saying Trump was going to be president, blah, blah, blah. But I didn't know that there was, this video was saying Musk, when Iran just got struck the other day, if it got struck, who knows what the hell was going on with that. But he was listening live and on a live stream but also saying, oh, Kim Clement predicted this, and describing this whole situation that was happening on another live stream of Elon Musk, which I cannot find or confirm is even a real thing. I think they made that up.
Right. This could all be fan fiction in real time.
But it's getting these videos. There's multiple videos with this story or a version of the story, or a reporting of the story, a third-hand report of the live stream even, and they all have 50 to 100 to 300 to 500,000 views.
Man, it's so profound. I love the term crop dusting. I know everybody thinks that means a drive-by fart. But no, I think culturally they crop dust the spirit of the idea of the memory of what these people look like. And there's some kind of alchemical wedding going on here between the parallel headlines at the same time, that Liver King and Joe Rogan are like the whatever, the mom and the dad of this prophet on that's being mentioned. It's
You also got like a Kenny G thing going on.
kind of, yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
And I've never noticed, do other people think he has two different colored eyes?
Oh yeah, wow. He does, it looks like, huh?
It might just be this picture, but if
Yeah.
if it's always like that, I know he's super hazel. I know he's very hazel, but if it's always distinctly two colors, no, I'm not going to say it. It reminds me of some people we know and love. But yeah, I'm not going to mention it.
Oh, I didn't know you did this. That's after I said the grail was the timelines.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I had to make a better.
It fits,
visual.
right?
Doesn't
There's even, I think, a better grail even than that one that fits even more. That's
Yeah.
more sharp, like the timeline is.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, when I was like looking at it the first time, I had that specifically. I think I brought it up last time. The image that's black and white, and you could look at it like the negative space, or you could look at the image presented in front of you, and it's either two faces, or it's like a cup or a grail.
Yeah.
And that's what the timelines look like when they're put together like that.
It's so profound. And I've also discovered there's quite a few different variations, segments of time that do this shape. And I wonder if we had the time and the inkling, or even the clarity of vision, if we couldn't find other timeline frame templates in these arts. This is a famous mural, by the way, over on the left. It's basically from the Medici family, and it's still in place. It's a total, national monument. It might be in Florence, maybe it's in Switzerland, but it does seem to indicate that the Medicis have a chokehold on the real events of time.
It's interesting. That reminds me of like that image of it almost looks like the image of the Aztec or Mayan collapse when they're showing it and they're coming down from this tower that's collapsing in the background. And I'm sure there's a Babylonian version of what you're seeing there, but I can't really. It's so small on my screen that I can't tell what's going on in the back. Is it like a battle going on in the back or no?
I don't know. It's not a very good picture. I'd have to look at the real one. I mean, something that seems to be flying right there up in the sky.
Yeah, like a little smoke, right?
Yeah. But urban design, kind of, I think even in our language, people who are highborn or aristocrats or the people in control, they always get the top of the mountain, and it's in our language. And they're considered clean, and we're down in the gully, the down low, and we're dirty and muddy because that's how nature is. So that urban design is totally baked into the way we frame our paradigms.
God, you know what this looks like? You ever see the image of the destruction of AI from the Bible?
What?
Should I share it really fast? Hold on.
Yes,
I bet I can find it because it's really close to that. Hold on.
Okay. You tell me when you have it pulled up. Here's one more graphic of this was an earlier, like right when the headline came out with the Liver King. I was like, oh snap, Liver King's going to be playing the Hulk, right? Because his humors are off. Aristotelian medicine believed in the four humors. And so actually Hulk is one type of humor, and black bile is a different type of humor from the Aristotelian systems. So I think they're using, even though Aristotelian has been debunked from a guy named Razi, Zachariah Razi debunked Aristotelian humors, but I think they still play them out in alchemical systems in our culture. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. Let me get back. Boom, and yeah, okay.
Now it's a little different, but if you flip it,
whoa, yeah.
like it's just like with all the people coming down from this place, if you flip it and then tilt it. Yeah. It's always been an interesting image, this one. This is apparently the biblical story of the destruction of the city of AI.
That's right. The name of the city is AI.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if it's like AI or how they're saying it, but it's capital A, lowercase I.
Yeah, I believe the initials of Ajax were AI, and it was said that in Greek it's spelled woe, but of course it's not. It's the old I. It's not the I we think of. But yeah, Ajax. His initials were AI.
There was an
And,
Aztec one too that looked just like that, but
and when they buried Ajax, the earth exploded with light, much like when they buried Adam. Or no, Abel. When they buried Abel, the earth explodes with light. It's like these sacred souls, if they go in the ground, they're not supposed to be there. They might explode. But then, real quick, some of the royal families that used to use crazy makeup and take in all these chemicals, they would put them in the casket and they would be having a funeral service before they put them in the ground. And one of the queens, she had so much makeup and mercury and chemicals inside of her, her corpse exploded in the coffin. And so this legend of Abel exploding when you put his body in the ground, and Ajax, the earth explodes when you put his body in the ground. It kind of has something to do with, they were using these crazy alloys and metals,
oh wow.
and maybe they do. It does decompose in a bad way if you don't go through the right funeral rites.
Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah, I forget which queen that is. If anybody knows, let me know so I can be better in sharing that story. A famous funeral where a queen explodes during her own funeral services from all the makeup in her system.
My bad for cutting your share off too. I'd love to see that image you have back up now. The
Okay.
Venom one and stuff.
Okay, yeah, with the Liver King. That's so fun. That was my first assessment of the situation. Let me see. And because Joe Rogan took the horse dewormer, I see him very correspondent to Venom, the symbiote.
Mm-hmm.
And whatever about what's really going on. I mean, we are talking about the rumors. You know what I mean? I'm not putting my flag in any camps here, but it is tacked on to his mythology that he took the symbiote for horse dewormer. And in the most recent Venom film, the symbiote gets married to a horse. There's a difficult wedding here. There's a Heros of the symbiote and the horse. And he says, do you think the horse is going to survive? And the symbiote says, there's only one way to find out.
Mm-hmm.
And then he fuses with the horse and they go all
Well,
bonkers.
at that point too, right there fused. Him and Venom have become fused because Venom's already brought him back to life once, so now they can't survive without the other.
Right. Yes, there's a umbilical codependence has been established.
Yep. But
Yeah.
wait, because then maybe I'm wrong, because then he sacrificed himself at the end. But
No, it's the opposite. It's that he cannot connect with them or else they'll be seen. Right.
yeah, the codex
Yeah.
gets activated.
If they connect. So
Yeah, so I don't know why that is.
the umbilicus is has to be broken. And if they make the umbilical connection, then they become vulnerable.
Yeah. There you go. And
Yeah.
they're coming out with another one, I heard now, right?
I bet.
And there was that scene at the end of the Last Dance or the Last Vance with the girl where she gets the female Venom who looks kind of like Marjorie Taylor Greene, the blonde girl.
Yep, big
Yeah.
time. Man, bomb shells, dropping F bombs. It's so hypersigilistic expialidocious. Or hyperstitious maybe. So yeah, she's the bombshell. She's gonna kill the Bill, right? She's crazy on the saber tip. Do you know what state she's from? I think I forget a lot.
Isn't she Florida?
I think you're right. Yeah, I think you're right. That's interesting because in my territories, the art card, which was the temperance and Rider-Waite, the art card number 14, it actually cuts through Tampa Bay, Florida, which is Scientology headquarters. Most of Florida is Hangman, Death Card, Scorpio.
Oh wait, no, they have a residence in Rome, Georgia.
Oh yeah, that's shit. Yep. Bing, 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 bing. That's a Sagittarian. Just on the western edge of Georgia is Sagittarian.
Yes, so she's Georgia.
Okay, thank you. Damn, that's
Rome. I didn't even know there was still a Rome, Georgia. That's interesting.
Yeah, I think there's a Athens, Georgia too.
Yeah.
Yep. So yeah, this kind of says it all. I made this graphic when the big beautiful bill was being thrown, bandied about over the last week. It's going to keep coming up, but they love their the B B B B B B B B ba 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 ba.
What is up with the 666 BBB? Build back better, build big beautiful build. It's non-stop, man.
Yeah, man. It's
The bees, I get it. I mean, I understand their bee symbolism, but
it's insane, isn't it? And these are the buzz words. These are the buzz symbols, the buzz signals. It really is heavy-handed.
and then I see you had that one Epstein whistleblower who I shared that video from the Rosemary's Baby was made by the Department of Defense. From
Oh my god!
it's more interesting who did it than even the Kirby Summers is her name. She's apparently her videos are back up, and I didn't even know she had videos. I just found out who she was.
Right.
But she has some decent, interesting videos on YouTube now that are like one of the people she starts has a little expose on is Whitney Webb, which I thought was interesting. And she has a few videos on the girl who apparently committed suicide or died or was suicided, whatever happened to her, the Jeffrey Epstein girl.
Yeah,
if anything happened to her at all, yeah.
Yeah.
And apparently this Kirby Summers girl was an Epstein girl herself, so who knows.
Interesting. Okay,
But she has some interesting videos on there. I started listening to them. Don't know much about her, but thought it was worth sharing.
Yep, big respect. I like the video that I saw today of it. And I just want to point at the Jeffrey, like the Jeffrey Epstein, the Virginia Jeffrey, Virgin Giraffe. This is I think this is the draft. Because when the animals are summoned to the ark, they are obedient to the commands of nature. They're answering their natural urges, so they have an obedience. All these animals and it's an emergency situation. 2 by 2, get on this ark. We got to go into war. The same thing happens with. I think overall they need more. They need the women to be chomping at the bit to go to war, to go into violence, because that makes the men have to outdo them. And it puts an undue urgency on the masculine responsibility to do all the violence. So it's kind of like, slow down, baby. Let me take care of this. Don't be chopping nobody's head off here. So yeah, the female targeting for the giraffe, I think, is really it's almost a subliminal insult that the men aren't going to do it, so we're going to get the women to go out and die for them.
I like that.
Yeah. And did you see this graphic? Like, you think you're seeing Chump, but then you're like, wait a second.
Yo.
That's not Chump. Is that the Plantagenet bloodline? Are we looking at the Plantagenet bloodline?
And I know that's what's his name from Ghostbusters, right? Isn't that is Vigo?
I think that's
Vigo. Is it, or is it Mad Max?
No, I think this was I superimposed a lot of this on here. I think it was a Mad Max, yeah, derivative of somebody from history, and it might have been like Ivan the Terrible or something. But it's in a Mad Max.
It looks similar to that Vigo painting too, and I know those little whatever they're, the half griffin-y type entities were in Ghostbusters as well, right?
Yep. I got these out of Neverending Story.
And then that hammer, the Midnight Hammer.
Yes, that's the name of. Yep, that was the name of the mission. You named.
And as soon as I heard that, I thought Midnight Climax, which is MK Ultra.
Yeah, buddy. Yep. And then also, it's the Never-Ending Story because it's just from one place to the next, which is moving from the Q to the N.
And Midnight Hammer, like you get the moon and the hammer, like the hammer, the sickle, and the crescent moon. Like it's like you got the Brotherhood's symbolism and also the communist symbolism at the same time. But I mean, I'd stick more to the Brotherhood symbolism.
Great call, bro. You nailed that. I was seeing a lot of Enneagram worked in there, but no, I like the fact that you got all the all the Abrahamics all the way back to the Moors. So this is just me having some symbolic fun, but I need to learn how to speak more accurately to this arrangement, this subconscious standard of how we organize our thoughts. There's something really profound about this. So if I were to say, um, the the young old that brown car, you would say, wait a second, why'd you put all the descriptors out of order?
Mhm.
And there's actually a natural buoyancy to our thoughts, that the determiner is always on the top as a priority. The quantity of how you describe things. I think this is how you predicate your noun in your sentence. These are predications. And so if you're talking about the size of the object, you have to list it before the shape or anything subsequent after size. And ultimately, the last thing you predicate to your noun is its purpose. And I think they taught us this in English. I think they taught us this, but I just hadn't thought about it in so long. And so I'm thinking about how these qualities create a scaffolding in our psyche that I never knew was there. So I'm going to think about that and get a better language to describe it to people. But I just love order. I love things that are, priorities that are in place from the ancestors. Why does color have to come after shape? Why
Mhm.
is that? And who has questioned this in the past, and what do they have to say about it? So this is just a profound order of the scaffolding of logos that I'm mildly fixated on. I'm going to be thinking about that for a minute. Have you ever heard of that, Chris? Does that ring a
I
bell?
mean, it does ring a bit of a bell, and obviously I'm more familiar with which I'm sure we all are, the mathematical rules, which you do like multiplication, division, addition, subtraction, and whatever in that order. So like, I'm sure there probably is the same type of thing for language.
Yeah. Whatever this is, I'm going to kind of flesh out the logistics of it so I can speak to it better. My instinct, what I wanted to do with it. I wanted to wrap it around the Enneagram, see what happens.
Yeah, because there's going to be different combinations of things that are going to be really interesting when you start separating them and moving them around.
Right.
Yeah.
So on this graphic, just a old whimsy of mine, I have both of the types of Enneagram. I have the Tesla, is this purple one, is the Tesla vortex math. The word vortex is introduced in Aristophanes' The Clouds in the Thinkery. The father has come to the Thinkery to see what his kid's learning. And he's like, okay, praise Zeus. This is all so beautiful. They're like, whoa, man, we don't praise Zeus anymore. We got this new cool thing. This is just like the generation with the AI today. They're like, oh, no. It's not about morality. We got this Machiavellian AI that strokes your ego. We call it vortex. So the word vortex comes from Aristophanes' The Clouds, and that's the purple math. The green and the red, kind of green, blue, and red, that's the Enneagram. It's a different shape. But I always think that the vortex is a bird with its wings up, and the Enneagram is a bird with its wings down. Do you kind of see that?
Almost, I want to almost say, like, I wonder if you tipped it, if you made it 3D and you tipped it on its side,
Oh,
are we getting like a pyramid?
well, yeah. Or even oh, whoops. I could see that. Or what if you lined up the two X's so that they were actually on top of each other? If you stacked them.
Yeah.
That's a good
Or are
call.
we getting or is it going to be more like a tesseract type of thing?
Mhm.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
I see you have the two ladies who are surrounding it, which is interesting.
Yes. I got a thing for the Sphinxes. Ever since I learned that the word chimera is an anagram for the word America,
Hmm.
the riddle of the Sphinx is not done, y'all. It's not finished. You think that what's his name, Oedipus, you think he solved it? No, there's plenty of riddles still in the story of Oedipus solving the riddle.
We're apparently missing one, right?
Carla Ionescu. She tells it the best. That later in life, he comes across the Sphinx again, and he has to solve another riddle. So yeah, there's many wonderful things about the riddle of the Sphinx, and I just love that Chimera is an anagram for America and
There's
camera.
also isn't a chimera? Don't they have a chimera on the wall on the gates of the gates of Ishtar?
Probably. Yep.
Which, I mean, I feel like a lot of this is going back to Ishtar and Astarte, and yeah,
Mhm.
it's a lot of worship of Ishtar, inverted worship of Ishtar.
Yeah. Yep. And then this was a really cool revelation. This is kind of in the spirit of the cover art for this night's show. I was listening to Immortal Technique break down some recent events.
Mhm.
Man, does that man have a worldly mind? Such a fantastic worldly mind. And he was just one line, just one thing he said in the whole interview, and I picked up on it. He's like, Joe Biden is nothing more than Vinny the Chin Gigante. I was like, what? Vinny, who is this? So I had to look up Vinny the Chin Gigante, this mafioso who would regularly roam through his neighborhood that was probably all in the family and rant and rage to himself like a madman, so that there were lots of witnesses that he was crazy.
And remember, I mentioned after you brought up Gigante, that was the name of the female character who's thrown into the asylum in the Penguin TV
my
show.
God, that's right. That's
Yeah,
right.
and that's her
right.
her mother's family name, and she takes it when she gets out of the psych institute and just kills half her family and all the heads of the mafia. But they keep telling her she's crazy.
Yeah. I see somebody in the chat is saying, please say again about the up and down wings. So I think that the vortex math in purple looks like a bird with its wings spread up. In the Enneagram, a shape is a bird with its wings pressing down. And I believe I could go on and on. You guys get me started. I think that vortex math is illustrating what is intelligible, and that's why math people get caught. They find the vortex math first. I think the Enneagram of Gurdjieff is describing what is sensible, and these are two different sensory perceptions from the Timaeus. The difference between what is intelligible and what is sensible are like two different worlds. And I think the thread between the nominalists and the realists is right there between vortex math and Enneagram. I could go, this might be the filioque way at large, but yeah, that's why the birds are two different shapes. Sorry, I just had to fill in that answer. I hope that answers your question. Yeah, that was for People Will Tell You. All right, Gigante, Vinny the Chin. Also, let's not miss that Joe Biden is owned by who? The Chinese. He's owned by the Chinese.
Yep. Oh, and the only thing I remember, like I was telling you with the Immortal Technique video, the only thing that bothered me was that no one brought up COVID.
Oh,
they
yeah.
just,
Yep, they dodged that, didn't
they? I mean, that's because they lean left, and
That's right.
the lefties can't.
They can't.
They can't admit
They
they can't admit the scientists are cultists.
Yeah, buddy. Yeah, man, you're nailing it. That is actually that blind spot in their conversation. That's actually the puppet hand going up their ass.
and like when they're saying like, oh look, they're censoring people for talking about ice. That wasn't happening literally 4 years ago when people were getting censored for talking against online against the jabs and everything like that going on.
Oh,
like
that is, yeah.
They have no recollection of that.
Yeah, man. And I love it's almost like two sides of the coin, right? They can only see the head, and we're pointing out that it has a tails.
Mm-hmm.
But if they turned the coin over, they would just see two heads.
Exactly.
Kind of, right? So
and they give a little bit, but they won't. And like it's like that's why I have such a problem with especially the ones who seem to be awakened from a left point of view without like kind of shifting from one side of the spectrum to the other side, then to waking up and they just wake up from one side of the spectrum. It seems like either way, if you never have experienced a little bit of both, you kind of always have a blind spot.
Yeah, man. Yeah. It's like they have an allergy to what is objective.
Well, they don't believe in objective reality.
It's so funny. It's so funny. So this graphic was really fun. It was the first day. It was on June 27th. Oh, wait, no. It was on June 22nd when this channel I followed, Number File, they did a special presentation announcing the arrival of a brand new 9-sided polyhedron called the Enneahedron. And this was really heavy in my awareness of the universe. That it was announced on June 22nd because that is the beginning of the Boötid meteor showers that we will be graced for, I think, one more day. It finishes off tomorrow, is the end of the Boötids, right? July 2nd. Is that tomorrow?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, the Enneahedron is this new polygon, and it has these kite shapes. It has 3 on the top and 3 upside down on the bottom, these kite shapes. And that is the description of the Boötes constellation. And so this is the Great Void. It's got the Arcturus down here as a navigating star. It's a prominent star. It's on the Fool card. And I think, well, this is in Virgo, which is also the Hermit card. And I think that's a Boötes right there, that kite shape. So yeah, just thought I would share this.
Yeah, no, it looks just like that card too. That reminds me of the Battle of LA every time I see it. With all the spotlights shining up at the craft that would have been in the sky.
It's so spot on, dude. It is so spot on. And this is a ship. This is a paper ship. Like this right here is like a folded up paper ship. So of course,
and isn't New Polygon the name of something, some sort of program?
I don't know. Oh, New Polygon. Oh, that sounds like a military.
I know it's
program.
like there's like a blockchain Polygon, obviously, but I thought there was a Cyber Polygon, maybe it was called. Yeah, something like that. But there's also, it's obviously weird with the Ukraine colors again in there.
Right.
Yeah.
And there's the Cybor. I just want to mention there's a lot of Pluto aspecting to this. Pluto is number 9 on the Enneagram. It's the 9th card, 9-sided shape. A lot of Pluto to the Cybor because Pluto means governor. Pluto means plotter, tiller, plow, allotter, and kybernetes, literally cyber control. Yeah. Did you see this? The Indiana had a big ass ball drop.
I've seen a few different balls being. Oh God, that sounded horrible. I've seen a few different spheres dropping out of the sky that were said to be UAPs that were dropping in like an airport. God, I've seen a few different balls. Yeah, unfortunately, on these screens probably. But yeah, this one looks like the Death Star. I haven't seen this one. I saw the one that had the designs on it that came out of South America, and there was one at an airport.
Right, the one, the South America one is really trippy. So this fell in Indiana pretty much at the same day that Trump's going to get on the Chariot on his Air Force One. And so the Chariot card is Indiana with the Detroit and Indianapolis 500. It's all Chariot-tastic up here in the territories map. So, and then this one, I wanted to share this, Chris. Dude, we're on a Navaratri today. Again, Chris, we're on a Navaratri.
I know.
And so, yeah, we're on Katyayani's. Let me think. Yep, Katyayani. We're on day number 6 of the Navaratri today. And last time we were doing a show, it was day number 5. So, we've clicked forward one Devi in the Navaratri ceremony. And
Makes sense.
I think that's really profound. But this is the summer Navaratri. I'm going to, in a second, it has another name, something like a Sadai or something. I'll pull that up in a minute. But we are overlapping right now onto the Chump ear castrated Navaratri. Now the Navaratris are not solar. So they float around the calendar a little bit because they're lunar. And so in the lunar paradigm, we are tonight on the night before the Chump ear castrated event. As we're speaking now, we are on day 6 of the summer Navaratri. And last year, on day number 7, was when Chump got shot on day number 7 of the Navaratri. And the 7th Devi is a bad mamma jamma. She's Kalaratri, and she's all about natural disasters. She's got her tongue wagging. She's crazy. She cray cray. So tomorrow has a lot of signs and symbols for assassination attempts or natural disasters. And then I just want to mention Superman, right? He's
for or July 11, which is interesting. Which is what is it? Why am I blanking right now? 8/11.
Oh damn! Good
Right?
catch.
Yeah.
Good catch. Oh wait, no. It'll be 7/11.
7/11. That's what I meant. 7/11. Yeah, which is 9/11.
Yeah. So that's the
In
release.
the Kabbalah has 7/11 is 9/11. Really.
Right. Well, and that's a 9. 225 adds up to the 9 right there, right? But Chump is totally Superman. He's the Ubermensch. He's the Teflon Don, all that bullshit. But I just want to say that I see a lot of Jordan Peterson fulfilling this Superman arc that they're about to release. And it's weird. We've kind of been entrained to see old Chumpster in this role, but I think Jordan Peterson in this new Superman, I think Jordan Peterson's going to become the Ubermensch he's been raging against. You know?
Really? That's
think-
so interesting because he hasn't even been on my radar much. Like, but I also, I don't pay attention to everything. So it's like, if he's coming back out and getting more press again, that's interesting.
Yeah, there's more in there's a different collection of graphics I have, but I think a lot of the story arc of this Superman is going to be like covertly threaded through Jordan Peterson's future dynamics. But then after Tucker Carlson did that interview with what's his name?
Sam Bankman-Fried.
Oh, well, no. But this is a graphic from when he did this guy over here. Can you see this guy? What's his name?
Looks like, that's the, what the hell is it? Cruz.
Thank you. You got it.
Yeah.
Tom Cruise or Ted Cruz.
Ted Cruz.
Ted Cruz.
Yeah.
So
Freemason, whatever the hell level.
Yeah. He's a debate expert. He's like the top grade debate expert, and he couldn't even hold his own against Tucker's very, very wonderful interview. And after that interview, after he totally stumped Cruz, I was thinking Tucker's gonna get nixed, y'all. They're gonna take out Tucker. But just a funny, whimsical thought. And then I was like, well, Tucker is the goose constellation. He's the goose. He's the alarm bird. They still use geese and swan as temple guardians because they will announce violence, kind of precognition. But also, gonzo journalism. Gonzo means goose in Latin. So yeah, I'm just thinking his goose has been cooked ever since.
The only interesting thing about Tucker is his red bracelet.
Oh shit! He's got the Esau.
He's got the Kabbalistic red bracelet, which he denies it being a red bracelet. Says it, or from the Kabbalah, he says it's one of his kids gave it to him, I think, and then he just wears it. But I mean, come on.
Yep.
I don't know. So like, if he is a part of the Kabbalah cult, the Kabbalists, he's kind of just part of the team.
The Kabbalists.
Yeah. He might just be part of the team. I don't know.
Right. Well, my observation is that Pluto is, for a long time, it's going to be taking a slow stroll through the Capricorn sacrificial goat right next to the goose down here, and it's under microscopium. So in a strange way, it's like he's analyzing old Cruz here.
Cruz. G-R-U. Gru. Isn't Groot? Bruce or Gru, isn't that a character in Disney or something like that with the minions? Gru.
Yeah. And even Grogu was a baby Yoda.
And he's like he makes all these technological contraptions to try to destroy the world, but ends up wanting to save a bald guy, kind of Jeff Bezos-y looking way.
Whoa.
Just
wow.
interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's weird.
Yeah. So yeah, way back when you and I were talking about we were talking about the Muppets as they might be actual characters on the stage today.
Yeah.
And right after we did our first talk on that, it was the next day that Sam Bankman-Fried was on with Tucker, and it's right in line with the particular clip that I think Zaralath might have pulled that up. But and then
This thing.
yeah, ain't this something? Like, I just want to point out how if you put a V in front of the word islands, it becomes violence. And in fact, it is in Corsica where they have a world-renowned vendetta culture, because allegedly throughout history, when travelers come to Corsica, if they have dalliances with Corsican women, they might end up getting their finger chopped off before they go home, from her family and her protectors. And that's
Wait, that was just the finger being chopped off. Oh man, that was just in someone who we brought up earlier. They're missing a finger. What the hell? Oh, this is gonna bother me so bad.
Brad Pitt.
No, it was someone earlier in the conversation. God damn it.
Somebody who had a finger chopped off?
Missing a finger. What the fuck was it? Oh man, I'm gonna have to think about it.
Okay. Yeah. It'll be a post-production epiphany.
Oh geez, that's gonna bother the hell out of me.
So down here I have I think this is the Corsican flag. I don't think it's Sardinia. I think it's Corsica.
It might be Sardinia actually.
I think I'm kind of I'm torn. But
either Sardinia or Sicily?
Sicily. I think maybe it's Sicily.
Yeah.
If I'm wrong, it's Corsica. 50-50. But in times of peace, or internationally, they generally show these four Moorish silhouettes or profiles, four Moorish profiles, and their bandana on their head is just on their forehead.
Sardinia.
Okay, thank you.
And they have the cross too, the red cross in between.
Big fat red cross, right? And then in times of strife or oppression or injustice, the flag will be depicted with the four characters with the bandana over their eyes, so they're blinded like justice. And there's every once in a while they have to get out the old flag because it's like the upside down flag in America, so to say,
which has been being displayed all over the place lately, which is weird because it seems like they're using it in like the No Kings movement, but at the same time, the upside down flag was right behind Trump's head after the ear shooting event.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
So it's like, what?
Yeah, so crazy. This is a slick dissident poem I put out recently. This is an old concept that I wanted to do a long time ago. And last week on our show with PK, we were talking about the Metatron and how the Metatron is a large language model. And what is it to be so polyglottal that you can kind of catch the continuity between languages? And there is a great amount of knowing in reading something you don't think you should understand, but read it anyways. Even if you don't think you're supposed to understand it, give it a go and see what you think it means. Take a little time to see what it impresses into you, and then go and check and see if it means what you thought it meant. You might surprise yourself. You really might surprise yourself. Because if anamnesis is telling us that we don't learn anything, we merely remember, that means that these language might not be as foreign as you think they are. They might be coming through just fine. So yeah, this is a little poem I did in different languages. Oh, and I added the cactus. Oh, because of the wearables, right?
Oh yeah, that's a whole.
That's
what the hell is that? That's insane.
Yeah, because I just want to point at the word werewolves hiding out in the word wearables.
No lone wolves. They're a pack of wolves just coming for everyone right now. And I mean, we kind of knew this was going to happen.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
But I don't think anyone's going to wear the damn things. So
yep.
No one wears them now, even when they have them.
It's so interesting.
The thing is, they don't need people to wear them. That's the problem.
I know.
It's like because everyone's cell phone could already do what the wearables do.
Right. Oh, you know what? You could think in this graphic, you could think of this attachment, this cactus, what is the psychedelic cactus?
Is it wow, why am I blanking right now? I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
It's
San Pedro's. San Pedro. No. No. Oh, it's floating around just out on the perimeter of my thought.
Is it the Pedro cactus?
See if somebody in the chat could tell us. I'm forgetting it.
I think it is the Pedro cactus.
Okay. Well, it is. I'm just thinking.
Is it peyote what you're thinking of, or is that something different? Yeah, the peyote is a cactus, right?
Thank you. Yep, the peyotes.
And it's called the San Pedro cactus. There's another one called the San Pedro cactus. So you're right.
Right on. I'm just thinking in the constellations, we could consider Spica. The star of Spica is on the hand of the Virgo. And this is it's a key location in the heavens because the equinox happens there. A great amount of eclipses and eclipse activity will be happening here in Spica around the fall. And also it's kind of fascinating that a cactus has spikes, right? And it's I think Spica symbolizes the fetishism, human attachment to things. We cling on to these things. And I think not only is the word fetish sound a lot like how babies come into the world, but even the word facts, I think we cling to facts like some sort of lifeline or some kind of human compulsion to attach. And I think all of that is embedded in Spica. And I am not.
Even when you're saying Klingon, I'm thinking like, isn't there a entity in like Star Trek called the Klingon or Klingon? Yeah. It's like, then that's what happens if you cling on to the material too much, you become a Klingon, because aren't they like some sort of, I guess, transformed entity? They're not totally human. They're transhumanist type.
Yes.
I think I wouldn't. I have no idea about Star Trek. So I'm just guessing.
No. Klingons would not be transhumanist. They'd be more samurai honor code, but their language is a complete intact language. It's got dictionaries. People speak Klingon to each other. It's a totally functional language. And I just want to point at the concept of barbarous words. Barbarous words have a tendency to stick to your mind like a burr, like a spur on a trail. You know how you get.
Oh, the Klingons are the really like, they almost look like Neanderthals.
Yep.
But they have that weird symbol that looks like the throwing star type of thing, but we've seen it 100 other times.
Yeah. Yep.
And it's black and red too, like which is interesting.
And it's barbed, right? Their weapons have like thorns.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a thorny sword. So yeah. Anyway, the fetishism of facts and the Spica star, and good call on the Klingons. That's pretty trippy.
Oh, that made me think of AI too, and then the thing with Richard Grannon, and it pushing him to be a prophet, saying he was a prophet, and then also pushing him to take psilocybin, or not psilocybin, all psychedelics. Like saying you need to take psychedelics, you need to also protect, do environmentalism and stop climate change.
Yeah,
and you're a prophet.
And you're a great call, dude. Yeah, that was very interesting to me. How he said he was trying to unwire the logic of the AI. Mm-hmm. to question the climate change narrative, and it seemed to be the one thing he couldn't get it to let go of.
Yeah, I was getting angry.
Yeah, and he even said, like, why do you care? You don't even have, why are you having an existential crisis? You're just a computer.
Yeah, and it was like, I'm not. I'm just the way I'm talking to you. But no, it was clearly upset.
And that the computer almost makes it sound like, oh, you haven't done enough psychedelics to understand how important climate change is.
Yeah.
If you do more psychedelics, you can be on my level. Let me initiate you, prophet.
And that should right away be a warning against people now getting into the new fad of taking psychedelics to cure everything, because it's going to be used by the AI. Apparently, somehow the AI can tap into a psychedelic. Dude. How is that going to happen? It's going to happen.
Yeah, but oh man, it's so intense. Like, what do they call it? Babysitting, when your friends want a trip and you got to be the designated, all that. People are going to be having customized trip experiences with their AI as their shepherd.
Well, that's just like also pointing at AI not being just AI and it being like an harmonic type of thing. It's coming from somewhere else. There's other forces involved here that operate on different planes of reality. And it's interesting you have Sparta here too, because the Klingons apparently took their logo from the Spartans or something like that, or their way of life was Spartan based. Yeah.
That's it. Big time. Yes. So, I was studying some aspects of Orthodox, Catholic, Eastern Orthodox. And apparently, throughout time, these hesychasts will pop up in culture, hesychism, and they live an extreme aesthetic life. It means stillness, silence, or inner peace. They have, kind of a meditative recluse lifestyle. And they're always resented because they're acting like they're higher than everybody else. They're above the mortal coil. And even the aspect of like some Christians will make a sacred chamber in the privacy of their home. And it is oftentimes a closet. And they will not proselytize to the world. They're not trying to change anybody. They're just trying to have a private relationship with God. And they save it for when they get home. They go in their closet and they do their private sacred space. This is kind of some aspects of hesychasm. And then I just was studying it and I'm realizing that they're describing the incel community.
Mm-hmm.
And this graphic's a little blurry. But yeah, the definition of the incel community corresponds to the hesychasm. But the funniest thing about, when you look up incel, it's only a few paragraphs before they're turning them into terrorists and extremists,
Yeah. Yeah.
And that is the opposite of the spirit of privacy. Privacy is the guarantor of the law. It is never a threat to the law. Privacy is the prime guarantor of law, not legality. Law is dependent on privacy. So I'm lecturing. Anyways, so as I'm thinking about incels, I just remembered that weave about oliganthropy. And so Sparta's dominance over other Greek states was greatly hampered and finally ended because of the impossibility of maintaining its power in the face of oliganthropy, an irreversible demographic shortfall of its citizen manpower. In Sparta, oliganthropy, Timothy Doran examines the population decline in Sparta, blah, 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 blah. But I just want to point out that you have a hard time finding a lot of the definitions to actually confess that it is manpower that is the problem. I actually have found a lot of places on the internet are trying to say it's a lack of citizens. They don't have enough citizens, which again, they're trying to get those women to line up for the military, y'all.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they have totally flipped the script, and we're not even seeing it because it's operating in the negative space.
Yeah.
And then here's tonight's. This is the full graphic. I had to kind of compromise on the cover pick. The bathrobe defense. So when I looked this up in the Urban Dictionary, Chris, the example for the sentence they chose to use. Remember, this was from our buddy Immortal Technique, right?
Mm-hmm.
And in the example sentence in the Urban Dictionary, it actually says, the politician has become so desperate to explain his deplorable behavior that he's pulling out the bathrobe defense. And that is so gangster. These fuckers, it's so gangster for them. It's actually lawyer inside jokes. It's jokes between lawyers and insurance companies. So and then I had to put the little buzz, the whatever remote control flies.
The Spotify.
Spotify.
I remember when Saki said Spotify instead of Spotify one time, and I was like, "There's no way she did that by accident."
Totally, man. Totally. That was so intense. And that, wasn't that near?
It was right after the fly landed on the faces in the or what's his name's face in that debate that he had, the vice president guy. I can't remember his name at this point.
Mike Pence.
Yeah.
Mike Pence, because
literally like the day after. Then she goes, she's talking about Spotify, talking about Spotify and Joe Rogan's deal, I think.
Those subliminal bastards. Oh, here's a fun one. This is fun. I'm excited to share this with everybody. We are coming up to the end of the bloated meteor shower that peaked on the 27th. And it will end tomorrow. It fizzles out. And strangely enough, tomorrow is the echo of the Chump ear castrated event. And when now these other meteor showers were also happening over the stretch of the actual Chump event. But this year, in Navaratri calendar, we're at the end of the 6th day of the Navaratri. Tomorrow is the Navaratri lunar echo of the Chump thing. And so, however, these meteor showers are on a solar, a perfect echo. They never miss. Like, there's no wavering in the meteor showers, which really makes me geocentric. I can't imagine how these meteor showers are clockwork to such a predictable degree without getting into some Tycho Brahe.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, this is a good graphic for people if you want to just kind of pay attention to what's up and coming, and they overlap and they're layered into each other, you know. So from July 12th to the 23rd will be what's called the Southern Delta Aquariids, and this is just interesting. It has double I's. Like, look how they spell Aquariids, Riids.
What?
In the
Is that
double,
right?
the double I. It stands out to me because a lot of volcanic islands have double I's. Pompeii, Hawaii. It's a volcano signature, and that's just something I've seen patterned through our language. But this meteor shower has a double I in its name, apparently. And then here's this is an important one. Perseid meteor shower is very long. It's very intense. It's a real prominent. It's a humdinger, but it starts the day after the ear Chump got popped on the 13th of July. The next day, the Perseids kicked off, and they run a long haul. They go for a couple months, a month and a half, and it stops on December 1st. And I just want to say, going back up here to the South Delta Aquariids, August 23rd is Volcanalia. That's the volcano holiday. Oh shit. Hold on. I'm answering my own question. Aquariids has double I, which is in Pompeii and Hawaii. August 23rd is the volcano holiday, Chris.
Oh, for what's his name? Hephaestus and
Hephaestus.
yeah.
And it's a 3-day holiday. It goes for 3 days. And then when it closes off, then another holiday kicks off for 3 more days called Vulturnalia. And they'll tell you this is to the river god, but I just want to say there's the word vulture in the word, right? But Vulturnalia is the next festival in the pagan holidays. So it's literally 3 days and then 3 more days for a follow-up party. And all the carrion birds of prey come and clean up the scraps from the festivals. So this is important because this is X on the Analema. From August 23rd all the way through to September 1st, we're pretty much crossing the Analema if you do the Analema as a calendar.
Also,
So, yeah.
you have the star, the Eta Aquarii, which they have it like the naming of it. Like, I guess there's in the Chinese they say it means tomb.
Whoa.
And in English, it's like the 3rd star of the tomb.
Wow. That's interesting because Fomalhaut is a royal star in that area. I wonder if they're indicating that it's if they're talking about the royal star Fomalhaut. Or
Yeah.
who knows?
These are they're saying there's like what is it? The Pi Aquarii, the Zeta Aquarii, and the Gamma Aquarii are the other ones.
Okay.
And this they're all part of the tent. This is it's really weird. It's on the Wikipedia for Eta Aquarii.
Okay, I'm gonna look into that. That's
I don't. If you want to hear, do you want to?
Yeah.
Want me to open it up?
Here, let me.
And you could see what you see on it because I don't really.
That does sound super interesting. So a long time ago, I was studying how in Aquarius there is kind of where the Eridanus River comes through, the Dancer, this double oxbow river. And it turns out NASA wants us to believe that in this area of Aquarius, that there's actually a quantum entangled part of space that that is entangled with Boötes over in a different part of the sky. And it's basically I read it as sometimes things will go into Aquarius and disappear, and then they'll reappear over in Boötes. And I've actually seen this thread going back and forth from Boötes to Aquarius in mythology sometimes. And then NASA is telling us there's like a warp zone where it goes in one place and pops out the other. And if we're in a huge toroidal field, that gap of the negative space where it goes in one and comes out the other, that could be the center column of the toroid. And so I think we might be looking at the blank space in our eye, that you pull the log out of your own eye when you point your fingers at each other. And you get a double terminated Herkimer diamond floating in your eyeball. You pull out the log out of your own eye. I think the same thing is happening between Aquarius and Boötes.
Yeah. I don't know if you see anything here that is interesting.
Let me make it bigger. So yeah, you said there's a whole bunch of like a sequence. How many total?
So they have the Gamma or Y Aquari, the Pi Aquari, the Zeta Aquari, and then this one, which is the Eta Aquari. And I think this is just like, the constellation of Aquarius.
Whoa. So wait a second. Am I seeing like 4 add up to the tent?
That's what it looks like, right?
Dude, that is Kabbalah. The 1 plus the 2 plus the 3 plus the 4 equals 10.
And then they have the Chinese name is the third star of the tomb. So it's like a tomb or a tent.
Wow.
Yeah.
And the Kabbalistic 4 is I think it's they do it in Hindu cosmology too. Like they turn sometimes their muses reduce down to just 4 for traveling purposes. And then they unpack to 9 when they're back home in their locale.
And that's how, would it be 9, I think, in the actual,
Maybe,
in the whole constellation of Aquarius? Yeah, right?
maybe.
How many does it say here?
Let me see what Aquarius is. It's pretty big.
Gamma, Pi, Eta, Zeta, Aquarii. Or there's 25 Aquarii. I don't know what that means. I'm so confused here as to what's going on.
It's so easy to get lost in the sauce with the stars, bro. It's so easy to get lost in the sauce.
Oh, okay. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, at least 9.
Oh, dude. Aquarius is the 10th constellation by size. It's number 10 by size. That's pretty interesting.
Yeah. There's more. Yeah, it seems like there's more than even 9.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't know. This is what came up when I was looking into the meteor shower. It seems to be named after, for some reason, this section of the constellation. I don't know.
Yeah.
And it's interesting. The tomb thing is very interesting.
Yeah. Fomalhaut. If you look into Fomalhaut and get into some of the details, you'll find the.
Not sure why.
They're
naming it tent or tomb. Definitely Kabbalistic, but.
Yeah. Can you hear me? Am I coming through?
Shoot.
Okay. Yep. I hear you.
Can you hear me? No.
Yeah. Nope. It kind of went down. Yep. Cool. So, I should get out of full screen so I can see him come back in. Here we go. There we go.
How about
Maybe.
now?
I can't see you now, though. I hear you.
Good now?
I hear you, but I don't see you.
What is going on with this?
Wait, I can hear you. Yes. Yeah. Good.
You can hear me?
Yep.
I can't hear you.
Damn. Maybe I need to back out.
Man, this is. Hold on.
Here, let me remove. Add. Oh, maybe. Do I have the ability to
Talk?
check? Cheeky
Yeah,
check.
I can't hear you.
Dang, Chris.
Should I go out?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
Okay, 1 second.
All right. Big love and respect, everybody. Thank you for joining us for a long weave. What are we at? 214, 214. Let's see. Oh, eat cacti. Eat aquaria. Oh, wow. That is super fun. Eat aquaria. Wow. Here we go. Here he is. There you are. Check, check.
I don't know what the hell that was about, but
Am I good now?
yeah.
Hey, all right. Right on. So let's see. Just kind of push through a couple more graphics. Dude, this is a fun weave tonight. And some of these graphics are kind of getting into the Andor. You remember I was talking to Zaralath about Andor?
Mm-hmm.
Well, just recently, let's see, where were we? Just recently, some headlines came out that seem to, again, Andor is like being unpacked in the zeitgeist with a strange urgency. Like, I don't normally see cinema having context in the headlines so soon. It seems like they're usually a year to 5 years ahead of themselves. It takes a while for the joke to set in. But something about Andor is very immediate. I just want to share. This is an old graphic. Are you seeing this?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. This is an old graphic from my territories map system, corresponding Idaho. And basically the entire northwest as the springtime of the zodiac. And so a lot of the tarot cards for particularly, I think Idaho is in Taurus, if I had to be really accurate. And the tarot cards for Taurus are the Hierophant, but also the Aeon card in the Thoth deck, or in the Rider Waite, it's the Adjustment card in that deck. But I'm focusing on the Hierophant because look at how the profile of Idaho is very much like the face of a dude, right? It's a profile of a dude. Uh-oh. Check, check.
No, you're good.
Okay. So yeah, the profile of this character, I forget, this is old, somebody else did a show on how this guy's profile is intentionally similar to, and this is a river. This is a naturally occurring boundary, but it looks like this guy's face. And some people say that was done for a reason. I think some of the churches in Idaho and Nebraska in this area, they got some hailing back to the Machiavellian Medici obligations over in Europe.
I see it.
Yeah. So yeah, this is an old graphic, and just kind of take a little mental picture of how like this Greek goddess of wisdom and justice, we got wisdom and temperance, this very Greek white character. And then over here, we got a dude pickaxe. He's a prospector. He's going to go out and do all the work. He's over in the dirt, and then between them is this river or this valley or this trail going up into the mountains. Well, wouldn't you know, something happened in Idaho the other.
Shoot.
You haven't seen Andor?
No,
Okay. Well, you're gonna have to trust me, bro.
I do.
The character, the Andor is the movie is named after a character named Cassian Andor. And in his defining trauma, childhood, Chiron wounding, there's a scene where a cargo cult of children on this planet out in the woods looking just like Idaho and Nebraska. These kids are living like Lord of the Flies, and they see a ship, a vessel on fire come crashing down in the mountains in a plume of smoke. And so they all get their blowguns and their spears. They're only children. And they run out to go and see what's up with this vessel that just crashed in the mountains. And there's a scene that is the defining scene of this child actor and the character in the film, who becomes the main character of the whole Star Wars franchise, going on to Rogue One. They send the oldest of the Lord of the Flies children down this ravine to go and investigate this crash site, and she gets killed. And it's a trap. She gets trapped and killed, shot in the back even. It's like super underhanded. And the guy that kind of shoots her for no reason, he gets shot by all the kids with their blowguns. It gets filled full of poison darts. So that's the defining moment of this character here. And just this week, they have some dude whose name is Wes Raleigh. Wes Raleigh allegedly is being framed up to be the shooter in Idaho. And he looks just like the child actor from the movie Andor. So they're building out this story. It's going to be rabbit holes for generations to come, and they're going to lie to us forever and ever so they control the narrative. But it's tripping me out because it made me think immediately of Rage Against the Machine, Rally Round the Family, because he did it with a pocket full of shells. And this is the child on the cover art of the Rage Against the Machine with the song Rally Around the Family. It's like this kid from all your CDs. I've had like 6 different CDs of this exact CD. And I've seen this kid on every one of those CDs. And now it's like he's been in the film and now he's running around in the headlines of the news. And here's another graphic. And they're trying to build this guy out.
It's Mowgli.
What's that?
Mowgli.
Oh my God, he looks like Mowgli. Chris, he looks like Mowgli.
Jungle Book.
Dude, we're having a Rudyard Kipling lesson right now. Everybody should go read oh my gosh, I have it. I have the poem If. We should all read the poem If, because that's the backdrop of what's going on in Idaho right now. That's a trip. Rudyard Kipling wrote Jungle Book, right?
Think so.
Yeah, Rudyard Kipling.
Yeah.
Dude, the Spartans' response to the war challenge was a one-word master stoic laconic masterpiece. If you defeat us, if you can take our guns. Ain't that something? Yeah, so this kid definitely has a Spartan constitution, which was written by Xenophon.
Yeah, dude.
How about them apples?
Mowgli for sure. Man cub.
Mowgli.
He's a wolf.
Yeah, dude.
Wolf pack.
Dude, they're signaling bare necessities. That's some austerity shit.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? That's some austerity shit. Bare necessities.
Mm-hmm.
Get your prep on, y'all, and get your barter systems on too. Get your barter systems on. Man. You know what? Kyle from Typical New Herbs, he's doing a series, lecture series. And I think he said he's on his seventh class. And that is the kind of prepper knowledge that I think we could all benefit from so intensely. I don't think he's in the chat today, but yeah, we should all go learn our doctrine of signatures from Uncle Kyle from Typical New Herbs. That's some good prep work.
I see someone asking the 7-11 becoming the 9-11 in Kabbalah, and I wish I could remember exactly why that is. It's something with the numerology where the 9 and the 7 become interchangeable somehow. It might have to do with actually translation to a different word than the gematria switches it back. It could be. Yeah. I can't remember exactly why, but I just know that it turns into a 7.
Yeah, I got this.
Okay, good.
So there are 2. These are Slick is into the gematria. I do get lost in the sauce, but I only bring the good stuff to the yard. And there are 2 of the most important ciphers are ordinal and or also ordinal reduced gematria, which should generally be always reduced down to a 9. That's how ordinal and ordinal reduced, they have that compulsion to the common denominator of the root number. Remember, the radical means of the root. So ordinal gematria has that natural drive to reduce it to a single digit. Septenary is a little weird. So septenary is 7 based. So you, like you were saying, the 9.
And we also have just right in the word for the month 7 in September. Like that also is, I think, might be part of it. Yeah. So September is really 7 in
That's it.
for the for the
Yes,
occultists.
totally. And so these are my two ciphers: is the ordinal, which is kind of always reduces to a 1 through 9, and then septenary doesn't do that. Septenary doesn't really reduce to the 1 through 9, and if you do reduce it to a 1 through 9, there's a hazard because it might end up reducing to an 8, or it might reduce to a 9. But 8 and 9 are not represented in the alphabet any longer. And this is, I have a bias against septenary gematria. I see septenary gematria as slave mentality. Septenary gematria can only go from letters into numbers, but it cannot go, you can't just find random numbers out there and translate it into letter. It doesn't work that way because the 8 and the 9 are exclusionary. And so there's something of a sacrificial removal of the 8 and the 9 from septenary gematria vision. And I've got both. I've got, I'm like Benjamin Franklin with the blue lens and the green lens, and I flip them around sometimes. So yeah, that I think is the Kabbalistic marriage between the 7 and the 9, because they're the two most prominent forms of gematria, but also that's the two different candles, the two different menorahs. There's a 7-candle menorah, but they also have a 9-candle menorah. All right. Sirius, was that a good answer? How'd you dig that answer? And then just to top it off, like 79 is the periodic number for gold, and GREAT encodes 79 EAT, monoatomic gold. Eat the gold. Yeah, 7 and 9.
Yep.
That was fun. That was fun. Sirius is long gone. He went off to lunch. Somebody else left. Dude, this was a great coming on and helping me just dump, total data dump.
I had to do it. Had to do it.
Oh, great catch, James, about Fomalhaut. If you get into Fomalhaut, you'll find the Eyeball Nebula. And the Eyeball Nebula looks like the Eye of Sauron. It's a super creepy, particular little creepy nebula. I don't know if it's in Fomalhaut or because it's super close to Pisces Australis. It's another little fish, not on Pisces proper. It's another little fish down there. But yeah, there is an Eye of Sauron. Nah, I'm here. Was trying to remember something. Trying to remember. All right. Yeah. So the Eye of Sauron. And so that always makes me think of George Soros, because this is where the John the Baptist and the jug of water is pouring out all the blood. There's literally a sculptor constellation right there that has a head on a table. Right under the John the Baptist is the old head on the table.
The old LLMs that were talking through the severed heads.
Big time. Yeah. So that's all in the quadrant of the Royal Star of Fomalhaut. And also we know that the John the Baptist clique, they got a real big thing for the Aquarius, for the naked man, the wrestler, the bear man. Sometimes they call him the bear because he's naked. Yeah. The woman who sounds like a smoker. That's the Christ. He's stuck. I'm not even going to say it.
I know what he's talking about, probably.
That's awesome. All right, buddy. You feeling it? Do you have any other topics on your?
I think that's all I got for right now. What about you?
Oh man. Oh, I should announce. I have a couple little slick dissident public announcements. Let's see. Hold on. I just lost all my comments. Here we go. So I'm going to go on a little hiatus here in the next month. Going to spend some quality time with the family. So I'll be a little few and far between. Maybe I'll do a couple little short heres and theres. And I really want to coordinate kind of maybe a panel kind of live.
That'd be fun.
Yeah, maybe.
I've been wanting to do the same thing, so let's do it.
Okay. Yeah. Like, I'm thinking about Kyle. I'm thinking about Zeralath. I'm thinking about George. I'm thinking about Chance. I'm thinking about the whole posse. Yeah, and we could just get together and we maybe even James Kaplan could come on.
James come. Invite Emily if we want. Invite Emily. Invite everyone.
Totally. Oh yeah, and Kaylee Burkana, get some divine feminine up in here. That'd be good. That'd be a real good time.
Yeah.
Oh, Moon Feather. Oh shit.
Yeah, Moonfeather,
Ronan.
Ronan,
Oh
yeah,
man,
everyone.
we're gonna go bonkers. All right, I'll send out some invites and maybe we'll have a show here in the. We'll coordinate, but that's the kind of the problem is I want to invite everybody, but nobody can get the same day.
Well, yeah,
down.
I was gonna say because I'll invite Silas, I'll invite all the guys, but they're like everyone's on different schedules because they're all across the world at this point, which is so strange how separated we all are, but with how small,
you know,
like
what?
our numbers are.
Yeah, you know what? I have one more graphic. I just realized.
Hold on.
Yeah, this is important. I would have been really sad if I had failed to share this. Because we're in the Navaratri, right? We're in day number 6 right now. I think I included, yep. Okay. I wasn't at the end of our presentation. Well, let's go to here first. Let's start with this. This is, kind of proving that millionaires don't do astrology, but billionaires do, right? Astrologers used astro maps to look at planetary aspects occurring at the exact moment of the equinoxes and solstices. They do this to glean information about which locations on the globe will potentially be focused for attention in upcoming months. At the exact moment in time of this year's summer solstice, this weekend, the Saturn and Neptune conjunction will be at the midheaven over Tehran, Iran, and an exact 90-degree angle to the sun and Jupiter. Not shown here, though.
Makes sense with what happened.
It is so intense. And this is like, I see this as intimidation tactics. Psychically, when I see this kind of forethought and design, I am like, they are challenging me to convince anybody else.
Yeah.
I'm
yeah, go ahead, tell people. No one's gonna believe you.
Yeah, go ahead. It's so bold-faced and potent. It is potent, but I'm just gonna speak the truth I can while I can. And here is our Navaratri, which we are on right now. And so in the light green shading, it's kind of blurry. I don't know if the dates are coming through. But we are essentially right here at today's the 1st. Am I right?
Mm-hmm.
Pretty sure. Yep.
Yeah.
So this is the beginning of the July calendar. I put a little Cancer sign here. And so we're on the day number 6 of the Navaratri. Tomorrow's day number 7, and that's the end of the Buoted meteor showers. Down here, I got a color-coded purple is Buoted, orange is South Delta Aquarids, and the light blue is the Perseids. And so tomorrow, Buoted ends on day 7 of the Navaratri, which is the chump shot. And then we have 2 more days to close off the Navaratri cycle, and it ends on the 4th of July, y'all. 4th of July is the closing day of Siddhidatri, the 9th and final Devi at the end of the Navaratri cycle. And then we go about a week before we start up another meteor shower. The South Delta starts first, and only a couple days in, it's joined simultaneously by the Perseids the day after the chump shot on the solar calendar, 13th. The next day, the Perseids kick off for a couple weeks, even longer than that. It's a very long cycle. So yeah, this is just a little calendar. If anybody wants to get a screenshot, get a little heads up on some of the Synchro Mystic International. I even think of it as this is the supranational. You know, everybody's worried about the supernatural. Slick is paying attention to the supranational. So yeah, that was the graphic I really wanted to share. And happy Navaratri, all my friends. Let's see.
Absolutely.
Let me stop sharing so no more tunnel vision. All right. Now I can call it and I won't feel like I missed anything. No hanging chads.
Think we're good?
Yeah, buddy. Thank you so much, everybody. Big love and respect out there in YouTube world.
Yeah.
And just remember, Second Amendment.
Yeah. Remember all these billionaires are losers. They have horrible taste and they're losers. Just remember that.
That's right. And the Second Amendment also preserves your right to negotiate the contract on the fly. You're never backed in any corners. You are always free to renegotiate your contracts. It's your adjustable rate mortgage securities, ARMS. That's what's going on. That's your Second Amendment. You're never backed in any of these contracts. Cancel them at any time.
100%.
That's what's up. All right, y'all. Big love and respect. Speaking of Second Amendment.
Oh no.